Another human drinking game. Does their number have no limit?
Nope.
I'm sorry, Anakin, for all of it.
Anakin's gone. I'm what remains.
Are you ready for the most metal concert in the history of the world?
Is that a rhetorical question?
Let's do it.
You heard it up top. In fact, you've heard it 200 times. That's right, because this is a special one. The 200th episode of Normies Like Us with your hosts, Colin.
Mike.
And this is Jacob.
And we're still in the search for Joe, but his Katra is with me. With all of us, really.
He's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit.
Look, I just want to say,
yes,
it's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been a long time, but our time is finally here.
That's
we got
right.
Faith of the Heart.
You're damn right. I have the NX-01 from Enterprise. It's the only Star Trek ship I own, and it's the best theme song, too. So we had Faith of the Heart. We made it. Maybe talk about some Star Trek later in this. It's going to be like a Whatcha, but like Colin said, 200 of these. That's pretty. That's a big deal.
It's an anniversary.
200 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's 200 more maybe, right? I'm going to be sipping on this adult beverage and, honor of in the moment, right? We did it.
That's right.
I was looking back. It's pretty interesting, some of the stuff we've been covering, like the early episodes. Obviously, we did Star Wars as like the first episode or one of the first couple, and Obi-Wan's finishing up. We did Dark Souls, Elden Ring's very relevant. So it's just kind of wild to think of, where we've come on this journey. We used to do it in person. Now we're remote. It's been an evolution, right?
It's been a long road, Mike. I remember the Fast and the Furious episode with some great guests. Like that one had Cole. Just got great memories of learning Jacob's Fast and the Furious-esque Lego character Xander.
With the scorpion.
Perfect memory on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, our Dark Souls episodes early on. I was all about Bloodborne. It became a Bloodborne episode. Yeah, lots of good fond memories, right? Of the
Bethesda episode became a Witcher episode. Now we have that show on Netflix, right? It wasn't even a show at that point. Yeah. So a lot's changed.
There was a moment where I would just be like, Star Trek, I don't even know what that is. And now I feel like we're 500 episodes into talking about it.
Colin, when we first started, even probably when we did the first Star Trek episode, I was very much a Star Trek normie. And since then, I would say I'm pretty hardcore Trekkie now, I kind of watch a lot of Star Trek, huge fan of the show now, so I guess that's really changed me, this
converted me.
Yeah. I've become a little bit more comic literate, still not reading a ton of them, but I do have, Berserk, that's a comic, it's a manga that I'm going to be reading, and I got the Sandman, a Neil Gaiman graphic novel, so we're doing
that on the horizon to look forward to.
Yeah, so I'm trying to catch up, but it's been quite a journey. I think.
When did we start this podcast? Right, 2016.
Let's get the exact date.
I'm gonna say 2001. There's a specific date that stands out to me that you.
I can't remember it.
September.
It was
That's exactly right.
2018. So we've been doing this for 4 years. May. So over 4 years of Normies Like Us. Incredible. We've served a presidential term.
Let us be indulgent, Normies. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're duly elected podcasters now.
And if you don't want to listen to this Love Fest and Little Whatcha, we have covered literally almost everything. You want every Transformers movie, we've done it. Every Star Wars, we've done it. Every Harry Potter, we've done it. We've covered a lot in those 200 episodes.
Yeah, we have. It's incredible. We do some of those long form series. They're definitely some of my favorite episodes. I'm enjoying the structure we have now, Normies. Obviously, we talked about that. We did a little bit of a change where we'll do kind of a long watch at the end of the month and more smaller watches as we go through, and then throw in some of these cool whatchas. But the burnout of the Transformers has to be what changed this format, right?
The Revenge of the Fallen really revenged us, man. And that was only the second one.
Better this way, because if we were doing all the Star Trek movies week to week, we would be doing that for 3 months straight, but nothing else. So
I
think it makes more sense to space it out and keep this content going for another year and a half.
Yeah, baby.
To another 200. But also, happy 4th of July, American listeners, right? This is coming out on the 5th. We recorded ahead of time, so unfortunately we won't be getting the final Stranger Things review. That might be down the road, but we will be talking kind of when we get into it, a little bit of that stuff. But hope that you had a good
I think we've
vacation.
done an Independence Day episode, and I think we've done a Jaws episode, Mike. So go back and fucking listen to
those.
We got that covered.
Yeah, we got it covered. So, but yeah, happy 4th of July, American viewers. Hope you
July.
shot off some hot dogs and ate some fireworks.
America.
Ooh, America. Pow, pow, pow. Fireworks.
Down
guns.
with America.
Well, it's one day
Everything's bad.
we're allowed to do illegal things, and they turn a blind eye, right? Fireworks are technically illegal in many places, but, not to get political, let's talk about the Normies like us, right? So thanks, guys, for being along for this whole journey. Again, 200, it's wild. Let's ask one question before we jump into kind of this whatcha. What's your favorite episode, Colin? Off the top of your head, or favorite group of episodes?
I've said this before, that I re-listen to the Halloween episodes when it becomes Halloween, just because I really appreciate our clusters. The spooktacular mics are so good. I never want to exclude you guys, but Normies, go back to the Evil Dead episode Joe and I did, because it's literally two guys who sound like they did a bunch of cocaine talking as fast as they can about one of their favorite topics.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Like in editing it, I learned a lot, and the enthusiasm is incredible.
And Mike puts a really cool sound design at the end where we get killed by zombies. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. Jacob, how about you?
This is not my favorite episode, but the Halloween episode that we just did last Halloween about the franchise Halloween.
Jacob,
that was a really good one.
You son of a bitch.
Was that your
Is
answer?
that what you were
That's
gonna
not
say?
my answer.
I'll
Just my
follow
honorary
up with
mention.
you. Okay, yeah.
But I think that was the most amount of movies that I've watched for a single episode, because I watched the entire franchise, and most of them I had never seen before. But I also think, the Star Wars episodes that we did, I think those are some classic ones. We had on Adam, friend of the podcast, Adam. He's always a great guest. So, some good times in there.
Yeah. So your honorable mention, I have two, but the Halloween episode, because I was never a Michael Myers fan. And through that process of watching all of those, like, I am completely converted. I love all of them, the good ones, except, Rob Zombie. I won't watch those. But, like, I became, jokes aside, a huge Michael Myers fan of the character. And, it really converted me, let's say, that experience. And then, again, some of the long watches. The Lord of the Rings, obviously. Great to have Chris and, Adam on those and stuff. It was a good time.
Everyone we've had on, all our guests have been super great.
Harry Potter episodes, we had some of our family members on those. That always really makes me laugh, because that's just such a fun family franchise. Please
Yeah,
go
so
back and
we've
listen
had
to
brothers and sisters on this show,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, very cool. Cousins, yeah.
And I also just want to say the Buffy episode that we did last Halloween as well, that one, similar to the Evil Dead one, was basically me and Joe on a bunch of cocaine, describing the plot of
Me
Buffy
being
to,
like,
to
but
Colin.
the movie. You guys be like, no, not the movie.
Yep.
And that's one that's pretty popular on our YouTube channel, so check that one out if you want Normies.
Hell yeah.
Popping off.
I think this is pre-YouTube, but another one is Karate Kid. If you want to hear one person yell at people like they're on cocaine about something they love.
The series and saga, and I've just watched the trailer for the new season, guys, so I'm so excited. But on this podcast, Normies, if you're not aware of what
there's a whole
the
arc.
Karate Kid franchise means to us, there's a whole arc of separate episodes, separate Cobra Kai episodes, just like the adrenaline and excitement. And we'll do another. It's
the discovery of Terry Silver is one of the most precious moments I think I've ever given to the world.
How could we do a 200 episode without saying the name Terry Silver on this?
Well, he's bankrolling this, now that he owns the Valley.
I think we brought him back into Cobra Kai because our enthusiasm for him brought a renewed sense of, we need to bring Terry Silver back on the show.
Yeah, that cocaine energy, man. We just put it out into the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, incredible. So it's been awesome, guys. So listeners, tell us what your favorite episodes have been, and we know what if you follow the Cobra Kai Karate Kid arc and all that. But how about we just jump into a Whatcha? We're just going to start talking about some of the stuff that's relevant. Again, no spoilers for Stranger Things because we haven't seen it yet, but we'll talk about it anyway. Catch you after this.
We're back. We're talking normies like us. We're talking normies like us. We're just free-forming it, hanging out
We're the
here. We hope
normies.
you're hanging out too. We're the normies.
And you're like us.
And you're like us.
And
We're
you
being
like
normie.
us. You really like us.
Instead of Gandalf at the end, we record that outro, Mike, please.
Yes, yeah.
We
Well,
play Sally Fields getting an Oscar.
I'll do my
like
best,
us.
Sally Fields.
They really
Normies
like
like us. They really like us. Yeah.
Normies like us. We're back. Like we said, we're just gonna jump in and talk about some stuff. Now, literally today, we were texting and being like, "Make sure everybody at your lunch break is like watching like our special little show that we all like love to talk about." And normies, you know what this is if you're following around. We said it up top. I wasn't a Star Wars guy. I am now because the greatest Star Trek show.
People come after you. You got to watch out. Yeah,
I'm about
I
to get
wouldn't,
killed.
but people would. Yeah.
Will Wheaton come after you.
Oh my God! Please
Oh,
don't,
no.
Will. Strange New Worlds. We have to talk about it. We've got one episode left as of this record, so that's to put a stamp on us, normies.
Yes.
Mhm.
The 9th episode came out today, the day we recorded this, not the day we're
Not
releasing
all
it.
who wander are lost. Season 1,
Yes.
episode 9. Yes.
That's what
We're
it's called.
reeling.
Yes.
I mean, I'm feeling.
It was an
emotions.
intense episode. So first of
Spoilers
all-
for Strange New Worlds
Yes.
beginning now.
Spoilers, episode 9. We got basically an alien movie in our Star Trek show, right?
Yes.
Alien meets velociraptors, which are the Gorn.
Yeah. We can finally
And,
see them. We finally get to see what
yes.
Yes.
adolescents and infants look like. We haven't seen an adult,
Yes.
but
It's
they're
still
pretty
crazy
scary.
now to know that Captain James T. Kirk fought one of those things 1v1.
And they're
Again,
like,
what
you
aggressive
cannot do it.
puts a suit on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's how
Um,
strong Kirk is, you know? Just
Right. Not
especially
like
after
his
watching these
brother.
movies. No, that guy's a coward.
Coward.
But yeah, crazy episode.
Wow.
Some
Yeah.
major plot developments, right? A major character death.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's to say, go back. We've talked
Yeah.
about. We've done an episode on this. There's, if you
Like
want
the
all
first
stuff on these
handful,
characters, yes. But our relationship, we've been texting about this show to say that these 10 episodes. I think Mike and I were kind of maybe worried about how quickly a plot line wrapped up with the Doctor last week, and it seemed like, oh, is stuff going too fast? And then this one happens, and
Yeah.
just reactions to that, guys. Because talk about going fast, it's like it's
Right.
over.
Oh, but then you realize there's only 10 episodes in the season. So
Yeah.
it felt like last week's episode was like, oh, that's wrapped up quickly. But I was like, wait, this season's almost
Oh, it's
over. So it
done.
kind of makes sense
Yeah.
that it would wrap up. But I was very surprised by the ending of this episode with the major character death. That we
And
can
another
reveal.
character potentially departing for an unspecified amount of time.
Retiring,
So we're
yeah.
almost losing two characters here. Both of which I'm a big fan of, you know?
And this
Yes.
Uhura character, I'm sure she'll never be back to the Enterprise.
No.
But no, some major things happening. And the character, I mean, we can reveal it, right? The character
Yes.
that died. Hemmer, the chief engineer, the Andorian, the
Anar. Yep.
Yes. A subsect of Andorians that are blind and telepathic.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrificed himself because he became infected with the Gorn eggs.
He became pregnated, yeah. And they didn't
Yeah.
allow abortions in space, so he had to. That's the only one I'm going to throw out. Political
Right.
jab, I'm sorry. But
But
yeah, he to save the
crazy.
crew, he
Yeah.
sacrifices
I
himself
did not
because
see that coming.
No.
Very Tasha Yar
He
kind of
seemed-
development.
And I don't know that reference. So he seemed like such an integral part of the story. And obviously you're getting the diversity in there and that he's played by an actual visually impaired actor, which is fantastic. And I just thought, well, this guy is just crushing this role. I don't know what to think or feel or do.
What I liked about Hemmer too, I'm so sad. I was like, this is our chief engineer. Like, this guy is awesome. Like, he's a little curmudgeon-y, and then in the last episode, he's playing along science. Like, I'm like, I really like Hemmer. And the fact that he's dead, it is a bummer because it's like Geordi was blind, Hemmer's blind. You know, like we're getting a
Yeah.
version of this
Well,
kind of engineer. But
On
I'm
that note,
sad.
I'm wondering there's going to be a casting notice for next season looking for a Scottish actor to be the next chief engineer of the Enterprise.
We're gonna get young Mr.
Interesting.
Scott.
right?
Do you
Because
think the next steps for this show, Jacob, are filling in those holes to get us to the original, I guess?
I think
Yeah.
there'll be certain nods to it because I mean, you already have Uhura, you already have Spock.
Mm-hmm.
I think Scotty was the engineer on Enterprise before Kirk was made captain. So if he served under Pike, it would make sense that he comes along at some point in the show.
So
we have
Hemmer's got to
Samuel
go.
Kirk on the show as well.
Did you know James T is cast for next season, guys?
I didn't know
Oh, is he?
It is the actor from The Vampire Diaries, who I'm not familiar with, but he's got a very interesting look, so I'm excited.
I mean, I'm okay with recasting at this point. I've seen enough CG monstrosity that it's like, yeah, just get somebody else to.
Star Wars.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But really a strong episode. Again, it's like one last hurrah with the cadets, because cadets are advancing, and then the senior officers are like, we'll go down to the planet, and then you get the alien, plot. So it's Pike and the senior officers with kind of the younger group and Uhura. So it's a cool dynamic.
Two new ensigns that were named just in this episode that.
And red-shirted. And Hemmer had a red shirt, too. So we get 3 red shirts, more or less, even though they're not all wearing red.
I thought they were going to red shirt.
What is it, Lieutenant?
Samuel
Was his
Kirk.
name Dan? Lieutenant Daniel?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Duke?
Lieutenant Duke. Sorry, I would have had him be Dan.
Chai or something. As soon as they're like, this other ensign that's also here with Uhura.
Hey, guys.
Like, she's probably not going to make it very long.
No. But, yeah.
And of course, Uhura is kind of questioning her place. Doesn't know if she wants to be on Enterprise or what she wants to do.
The rotation has
very
been
Hoshi,
such a
as we've said, but
through line
the rotation,
this entire
continue.
season. It's amazing to have her start every episode with, here's who you're with, this is a little character interaction, this is we're getting to know these people. I eat that shit up.
Hammer, dude. Team Hammer, man.
Hammer, yeah.
Back at it
I
again.
loved them doing the math together. It was so good.
Well, and that's the thing, is if his kind of final words to her leads her to stay with Enterprise, then his sacrifice was for more than just protecting the crew from the Gorn, but also a character sacrifice to kind of keep Uhura around or something like that.
And I love his the Ainar's, like, you have to find your life purpose, and his is to fix what's broken. And who was the most broken? Uhura. Like, he gave her her sense of it's like, man, you did it, in your last act. So Rip Hammer, great character.
Yeah, and Dr. Mabengo, who said his daughter plotline kind of resolved kind of quickly, but then even in this episode we have the scene where there's
a young girl survivor that they find.
Yeah.
Right. He still has the trauma of the fact that his daughter is a space god now.
But it comes up, which I did appreciate, because that's what we were texting about. Mm-hmm.
So he's still having sort of lasting
psychological
feelings about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good.
Here's my Hemmer thing. Okay.
Yes.
I almost said this to you guys the other day of how nervous I get that the bridge is so light on aliens, because look, Jacob is pro Ortegas.
Yes.
Mike and I are outing you.
You guys
right
don't
now.
like Ortegas.
And
from a personality and writing standpoint.
Fine that we don't like Ortegas. Great. My thing is, pull her out, put an alien in there, and obviously Una is an alien, Spock is an alien, Hammer is an alien.
Some
I want
aliens look more
visuals, exactly.
Like a Klingon on the bridge.
I need something like, I need a Bajoran. Well, that's even too little. I need a Cardassian. I need, obviously
that would be crazy. But
and they killed Hammer, the most alien looking. Of the crew.
Yeah. So
is that money? Is that cost?
It could be, but with 10 episodes,
on Discovery
who cares?
they have Saru.
Saru.
Doug Jones, and that's a very makeup intensive role.
Yeah.
So if you want your weird alien, you can watch Discovery.
Yeah.
But I also want good writing, so I'm not. But I'm sure it's fine. But I prefer this Star Trek, and honestly, this is like my favorite show. Like, I get so happy when it rolls around. Like, Thursday, it's Star Trek Day. Like, it really just brings me joy. And the fact that it's only 10 is sad, but that means Jacob was texting earlier. There's no filler. It's been 9 out of 9 good episodes with no filler. Right. Sometimes, though, they're nice to have.
Well,
but
of course, the old model.
Yeah.
For Star Trek shows, TNG through Enterprise, they're always like, 25, 26 episodes a season, because you want to have enough materials so that you reach syndication, in like 4 seasons, and then so it's sort of a financial reason, but also they, that meant that the actors would have to work longer hours, longer shooting schedule. The writers would have to come up with more stories, and sometimes they're not always the best. That's why you have some
Sub Rosa.
not so
We're
great
looking
episodes.
at you.
Yeah, even TNG, most people's favorite Star Trek has its not so great episodes.
Yeah,
So,
Skin of Evil, a lot of some stinkers.
yeah, but on the other hand, sometimes I like a nice filler episode, a nice holo sweet episode.
Go to
low
Ryza for an
stakes.
episode.
Yeah, Ryza
Yeah,
episode.
here's
shore
the thing.
leave.
As a side viewer or new viewer of Star Trek, when I start to learn these names like Ronald D. Moore, and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like recognizing and like getting into the style and taste of people's episodes. I agree with you, Jacob. I want those filler ones because like I just want to see great writers explore stuff. I looked up the Wikipedia for Strange New Worlds. Not a single repeat writer for the 10 episodes. They're all different.
Wow.
Obviously, Robert Kurtzman is the showrunner, quote unquote, but he only directed and wrote the pilot.
Right.
And he's doing other stuff and fucking it up, Jacob. Like, we know what this guy's doing. Like, he's not running this show.
Right.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, this might become the sort of the flagship show of Star Trek now because of
I really hope
positive
so.
perception. But I think they always wanted sort of Discovery to be that show. This might have surpassed Discovery in terms of, I don't know what the viewership numbers are on any of these, but in terms of critical
Does Discovery
reception,
get like 20? Do they get like 15? Do they only get 10 as well?
I was looking today. Actually, they get like 14 to 15 a season. So it's a
We'll
little
get
bit
that
longer
next
still.
season then.
Yeah,
for sure.
it seems weird that the
Yeah.
10 seems like sort of a mini series. Like Picard was 10 episodes each season.
It's a
but
trial. It's a
Yeah.
Netflix series. I mean, it's that's
you gotta keep in mind this
algorithmically.
this series only came around because of positive reception to Anson
Pike
Mount
on
and-
Discovery.
yeah,
Backdoor pilot.
right.
And
so
man,
yeah,
just what a Anson Mount. He is. Colin said it earlier in these episodes. He is fast becoming potentially my favorite captain. When he's like doing the dishes, like you can do two things at once. I'm like, I love it. I love this guy. Yeah, he's got a
Mike.
fireplace
Up there
in the
for me.
ship,
Picard, Cisco.
Here's the
and then
thing.
Pike.
and then Pike. Yeah.
I thought for these whole 10 episodes, every episode would start with him being like, my time's up, the clock's
Yeah.
running, all that stuff. We haven't gotten a moment to check in on that bullshit.
Well, I will say-
Instead, well,
yeah.
you just to highlight some great Captain Pike interactions.
Yeah.
When he's instead with fucking Mr. Spock on the planet with the Una species who have evolved each other and the lightning
The
creatures
fire
are coming.
ghosts. Yeah. Yeah.
And Spock's like, they're not going to attack. I'm not going to be calm. And he holds his phaser up, and the look he gives Spock instead, because he knows he is going to choose violence. The interactions are so good still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he was sort of born to play Captain Pike or a Starfleet captain. Like he's got the look for it. He's got the charisma, and you were talking, Colin, about his sort of backstory. They haven't mentioned it too much this season. I did watch the sneak peek for next week's episode, the season finale, and I think that will be dealing with it.
You got to wrap it up.
Got to bookend
yeah.
it. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, but so here's my theory on this, and they could go one of two ways, but I think it's possible that the whole wrap up of like how will this lead into what Pike was in the original series with the cage
beep
and
chair.
the menagerie and all that. Yeah,
Eventually.
I have a theory that he's gonna kind of find a way to like circumvent that somehow, and thereby splitting the timeline similar to the Kelvin timeline. So it'll be a different timeline, allowing him to be captain of the Enterprise longer or something like that.
Right, and if I may, Jacob, there's a popular
Yeah.
fan theory, and as we're going through the movies of Star Trek, the feature films, there's a popular fan theory that First Contact actually creates a branch timeline in which Enterprise, Discovery, all of these shows that are somehow more advanced than the original series, they branched off of like a First Contact sort of.
Okay.
But it doesn't make sense for anything before
I
Next
getcha.
Generation era, though, because that's still not there. But it's
That's
a little
interesting.
iffy.
I guess when I get to First Contact, because I've been watching, and we'll get this.
Well, yeah, because
more
they go
Star
interfere
Trek
with
stuff,
Zephyr
but,
Cochrane, and that affects all
yeah.
warp drive. So from
course.
that point on, who knows, right?
But we also have, if you've watched Picard season 2, then you know that there's this different Borg spec that's led by, this lady that becomes
the girl
new
from
Borg
the drummer
queen.
from Scott
Alison
Pilgrim,
Yeah, Alison Pill.
Sex Bomb's drummer, Sex Bomb.
So,
Scott Pilgrim.
but leading into a bigger Star Trek
I have
conversation,
a very
I've
limited
been
reference
watching
pool.
a lot of Trek. I've been a full-time Trekkie recently,
Insane.
and with my subscription to Paramount Plus, I've just been going hog wild on these Star Trek episodes, and I've been watching Enterprise, the one series that I hadn't yet kind of got into yet. I've seen all of DS9, seen all of Voyager, now I'm on Enterprise. I've been blazing through those episodes, and I find it really interesting because that's a time period it's the first warp 5 capable starship that Earth had. So this is set like
pre-Federation,
pre the original series, pre Strange New Worlds.
Scott Bakula of Quantum Leap is like the first Starfleet captain.
Captain Jonathan Archer.
Yeah.
So basically, his dad worked with Zefram Cochrane on the original warp engines, but it also deals a lot with the Vulcan relationship with humans, the early Vulcan relationship where basically Vulcans were the first aliens that humans met, but they kind of kept us away from. They're like, you're not ready. And so Archer kind of has a grudge against the Vulcans because his dad basically developed the Warp 5 engine, but never didn't live to see it in action because of the Vulcans being like, let's be cautious. They're not ready yet. They're impulsive humans.
It's a little baby species going to space. We can't just let them off the leash,
so
right?
Interesting.
There's
a lot of stuff. Andorians are a big part of it. So you got the Hemmer connection. I was just watching an episode today that's
Jeffrey Combs is a big part of it as a major Andorian character.
Oh, the greatest.
I love him.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched an episode today that featured 2 Borg that were frozen in ice from First Contact, and this is hundreds of years before the Borg actually come around. But because of the time traveling Borg from First Contact, they're caught under the ice, and it's sort of a Thing inspired episode.
So it could be true.
Team finds them.
That's so cool.
So we had an Alien Strange New Worlds. We have a Thing inspired Enterprise, right? And then they also have like Next Generation Klingons in the opening episode of Enterprise too. So that First Contact theory holds for me. But let me ask you a question, Jacob.
Yeah.
As someone who probably knows the most about Star Trek in the front of their brain right now, if you're trying to get somebody into Star Trek, do you think that Strange New Worlds is the best show to introduce them to, because it has kind of one of each type of episode, so to speak?
Yeah, I think if you like Star Trek, you'll likely like Strange New Worlds. So,
but if you're a normie,
Strange New Worlds,
what would you show
also
them?
I think it would be a good episode to get into because it's modern TV. It's not like TNG can be harder for some people to get into. It's not super fast paced like newer shows are. Kind of, it's more of an acquired taste, I think. And similar for like DS9, you kind of have to stick with some of these shows through their not so great first season. Whereas this one, the best first season that a Star Trek show has ever had, right?
I would agree, 100%. The best first season ever.
Yeah, they've always had trouble, finding their footing in the first season. Every show has, like every Star Trek show since original series, probably.
So maybe Deep Space Nine has probably the best pilot episode.
Yeah, but even Deep Space Nine, I think it gets better. Like I think seasons 3 through 6 are better than like the first 2.
Yeah, this is a shower, not a grower, where the other ones are definitely growers.
So this is like basically, you can tell this is made by Star Trek fans, like the writers and people attached are fans of Star Trek, and they're like, let's see how many different like episode tropes we can get through in a single season. So we have the, disease on the ships episode.
We have the mutiny episode. We have the stranded on a planet episode. Yeah, it's like the greatest hits of Star Trek.
We'll just do a whimsical one.
Yeah, holodeck episode, so to speak, right?
So they're showing all the tones. They've got a more lighthearted comedy
Shenanigans.
one. They've got serious. They've got comedy, so they can kind of do it all. So it's the most like Swiss Army knife of all Star Trek, where it's like whatever you want. There's probably one episode that you're gonna like.
Because I think when people think of Star Trek, it can be fairly narrow. Like, oh, it's this heavy philosophical, which it can be, and I like that. But it can encompass so many different genres and types of stories. So it's like showing kind of the flexibility of the format, I think. Colin, how do you feel about it?
Well, Mike, can I give you the barrier to your question?
Yeah, please.
Paramount Plus.
Ooh, not a lot of people.
I was just on vacation. If this is TMI, I apologize.
No.
I brought my Apple TV with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe somebody on this podcast shares his Paramount Plus login. Hypothetically watch Star Trek stuff, right?
Right. That guy seems pretty cool.
That guy's pretty cool.
Very
cool. It would be illegal, and we wouldn't condone that.
No. We all live in the same house. It's a family plan. We just like to record in different rooms.
I have 2 separate devices.
Yes.
I always get very nervous when somebody lets me log into their thing of not putting on too many things. So I have Paramount Plus in my bedroom thing, my Fire TV stick.
Yeah.
Brought my Apple TV on vacation with us, okay? Plug it in. One time late at night, Randy Brooks, my dad, says to me, "Hey, you keep talking about that new Star Trek show. I don't have Paramount Plus. I'll never get Paramount Plus. Why would I have that?
Right.
We should at least watch the pilot or something." I fucking light up. I'm so excited.
Yeah, seriously.
You guys know his relationship. He loved OG. He likes that one version of Star Trek and nothing else. I'm thinking, this is the moment. It's so good. It's so easy. He'll like this. I brought the device that didn't have it. And because of that, we didn't fucking watch it. And he was like, "Oh, guess I'll never watch it." I was like, oh. Like, I was just devastated.
I don't want to...
on your Apple TV?
Right.
No.
I think, wasn't the pilot on YouTube? Not to invalidate your experience.
I thought about looking for that. Then you're using like the hotels thing to get into YouTube.
Yeah, it's not easy, and Paramount is
Here's
not.
what I'll say about Paramount.
Let's
Plus.
bitch about Paramount Plus. Yeah,
Please.
real quick.
I know we always
I'm
do.
not
But
gonna
I'm just
bitch
saying,
about it
as a
because-
subscription service, Jacob, don't you agree? It makes the barrier of entry hard for these original shows that are great that you can recommend to people.
And that's the war we're in.
That's
Yeah.
The thing is, like, if you're not into Star Trek already, you might not you're probably not going to be subscribed to Paramount Plus, or if you there would be no reason to, because there's not a lot on it. Like,
Dad, what about the Godfather show?
South Park fans, maybe. There's not
Halo,
a lot.
I watched this show called Players, which was made by the guys that made American Vandal. It's like
It's the esports thing.
It's a mockumentary about League of Legends esports. That was pretty funny. But
really?
And that's on Paramount Plus. But the thing is, like, all these streaming services kind of suck. Like, I think like HBO
By
has a lot of
themselves,
good
yeah.
stuff on it, but the interface I think is terrible. Like, Netflix is probably the best interface in my experience, at least.
100%.
But I haven't been using Netflix really at all recently because I used to use it to watch Star Trek. I've been using Paramount Plus more than any other streaming service in the last couple of weeks, solely to watch Star Trek.
Yeah,
but
that's
if you're
their
not
big
watching Star
brand.
Trek, then it's like, they
If
don't
it's
have
not
a lot
Star
else
Trek,
going
yeah.
for them. Yeah,
I hear you there. I wanted to complain about the UI when you pause again doesn't show you the pause bar, but I went in to change my avatar. This is a dumb nitpick, and I'll be done quickly, right? So you can pick your avatar on Paramount Plus, and I'm like, let me change it to someone from fucking Strange New Worlds. And all they have is like Star Trek Picard, 1885, and Star Trek. Like they don't.
Your favorite Halo character, Mike.
Yeah, like why have you not updated your avatar list like with your most popular show?
Yeah.
It's like little
I,
shit
of
like
course,
that they get wrong,
Yeah, I of course chose Old Man Picard as my avatar. Because the other options, there's literally no other options unless you want to be...
I picked the cat from Discovery. I'm a cat.
So here's the, CBS
All access, yeah.
Paramount Plus,
Max.
right? That's the evolution. I always want to bring that up to you guys.
Yes,
The
100%.
Paramount Network too. Obviously, real TV's dying, terrestrial TV. CBS does the best because they have these staple, CSI programs that are NCIS that people just keep on for 50 years. Right?
Everybody's parents love them. Yeah.
How long until our beautiful pillar of the streaming service, Star Trek, has to start sharing the slices of the pie? How long until they go, well, NCIS, Maryland, that's a Paramount Plus original, and we're dumping a lot of our money and resources into that, or whatever other CBS bullshit they put out.
Well, I think they probably are doing that already, because I don't think even Star Trek is their biggest hit. I mean, for us it is, but I think
it's what they're dumping the most money into, though, Jacob.
But even
they
Halo,
really
I
want
think they
to
probably
spread it
were
around.
kind of advertising Halo more. And even with so Yellowstone, obviously huge hit for middle America, older people.
Second pillar, dog.
But they fucking blew it because
that's a CBS audience.
The way the rights work for the Yellowstone thing is Yellowstone, the show, is on Peacock, I think.
Oh, it's on the cock.
They have the prequel, which is 1983 or 1883 with Sam Elliott. So you can watch the prequel on Paramount Plus. But if you want to watch the show that's like the most popular with what's his name and everything,
Kevin Costner, and
Kevin
three
Costner.
more prequels coming, we should say, or spin-offs or whatever.
It's a whole Yellowstone shared universe now.
Yeah, the Yellowstone cinematic universe.
A show that no one our age watches or talks about, but is one of the most
shocking
watched shows
I don't
in America.
watch it, right? I love westerns.
I got to
love all
switch
that.
my avatar to Sam Elliott.
I've said it to him. I've said that's the other thing you would watch, and he's like, I wouldn't like that. I was like, but the 1883 one has Sam Elliott. I think that's the one we would like.
He's literally they're on like the Oregon Trail or something.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
Sam
I
Elliott
think
is the
so.
man. He's the man who killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot. I watched that movie on an airplane. He did
Right,
both. Let's circle it back around then to Strange New Worlds because we've done a bit on here. Last character, it seems to be La'an, her connection with the Gorn. She's like, I got to help this girl get out. And I like La'an a lot. She really grew on me. Like the whole shenanigans
Love her.
episode with her and Una. Like you get to see her softer side, her doing the singing, her kind of trauma background, and she's learning to soften up and like, you know. I really like La'an and like the fact that now our bridge officer, Tasha Yar, like we're losing our security officer, obviously for a different reason in this show. You don't know what that means, Colin, but
Well,
Jacob does.
I don't know what that means.
she might be. I mean, I'm sure she'll be back at some point. She might not be in this next episode, but she'll be back next season, right?
I'm hoping so, but it's indefinite. We don't know. She's like, he says, take as long as you need, but you always have a place on the Enterprise Pike.
It was a wipe the board setup. That's what I'm so shocked by. I truly don't know, Jacob.
Maybe
Well,
it's
like, TNG would do that,
forecasting
like, with
diversity.
Worf.
Yeah.
Worf would resign his commission to go fight with the Klingons for to
bit.
regain his family's armor or something. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, and I wonder. I didn't read too much into it about like Hemmer, why they, like if it was always the plan to kill him off, or like the actor left to do something else. I don't think he did. I think it was like the plan to kill him off. And they also, I think I did read something that said, Bruce Horak, the actor that plays him, he's not done in the Star Trek universe. So I guess he would come back in
Jeffrey
flashbacks.
Combs action. Let's just get him in every alien makeup.
That's
Yeah, just bring him back.
Right.
That's a Star Trek staple. Very cool.
Yeah.
Armin
I'm sure there'll be a mirror universe episode at some point, so maybe we'll have a mirror universe. Hemmer or something.
I wonder. Yeah, we'll
I
get
don't
those.
like mirror episodes. I'll be honest.
I like
with
them
you
once
guys. That's my
per
Star Trek.
series. That's fine.
Yeah.
They're good in DS9.
There's so
The Enterprise
many.
one is good.
When
The
they
Enterprise one is very
return
good.
To it, it's shocking. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know, Mike.
but I wonder if they will, because actually Kirk basically created the mirror universe in the original series, so this would be before that.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe they
Who
could.
knows?
Also,
But,
Spock gets angry in this one. But anyway, I think we've
Spock
touched
gets
on
angry.
this.
Yeah.
And he couldn't
I
put
just
the
wanted to
bottle, put it
ask-
back in the bottle. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and so we have him, fighting with his, human emotions, repressing them or not repressing them. My question is, just the Gorn. Like, do you guys like how they're being portrayed, their design? How did you feel about that?
Such
Colin?
a good question, dude. All right. I don't think I'm going to get anyone in trouble for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Some things were shown to me by people who worked on some merchandise for the original J.J. Abrams movies.
The
When
fourth,
it came
yeah.
to the second one, the Into Darkness,
Yes.
what we will talk about, what ends up being that movie,
Yeah.
Mhm.
was a very serious Gorn movie that had really animalistic monsters, kind of Jurassic Park-esque, but a lot of cool tech too. If you look up some of the toys, they still ended up making these.
Huh. Interesting.
And they kind of showed me some concept art too of what the movies would have looked like.
Yeah.
It's very close,
close.
to what they are doing in this
Wow.
now. So I
Interesting.
think this has been gestating for a long time, pun intended.
Hey, yeah.
And
Depending on
I
the
love
type
it.
of organism.
Yeah.
That classic episode is so good. The other aliens are really cool, but the Gorn, they're very inherently scary.
Right.
It
and
is
obviously
great.
hugely inspired, like I mentioned, by Alien.
They're
the
bursting
franchise.
out of your body
Yeah,
as
they're
as
bursting
infants.
You get the Alien 3 POV shot of the alien chasing people in the
It's almost
spaceship hallway.
Predator-esque, I was thinking, too, with the heat
Yeah,
vision.
they're
It's
like
very
aliens meet
Predator.
predators.
Yeah, aliens meet Predator,
Meets-
not V.
meets a velociraptor.
Yeah. Meets Godzilla 1999.
Yeah, but I thought they looked great. And my other question is, so I don't know the budget for this or the budget for Halo, but which do you think is bigger? Having seen the effects in each show,
Yeah.
I think this looked way better. And I don't know that the budget is that different. I would say even maybe Halo has a higher budget.
I think Halo might be more expensive because this has reused sets.
Yeah, but even that alien that we meet that like has the Gorn
Yeah,
inside
you don't
him,
even know what his species
he looked
is.
really good. Like he's like
He
CG. Yeah.
The shot of Leanne, icy crystal background, her coat on, phaser up with the egg. Is that the volume mic? Like, what are
could
they
be.
using there? Is it real? Yeah, that looked to me incredible. And Jacob,
Or did they build
You
that
said it
engineering
earlier.
room?
I agree with you. They dumped the most money into Halo. But I
Right.
still stand by. If you look at spread over the entire franchise of the fact that they're funding Lower Decks, the other 2 live action shows, Picard, paying
Kids
all
show,
those fucking maniacs
Prodigy.
to come back, the kid
Right.
show too. All that money going to Star Trek. I have to assume that the reason these are 10 episodes is because they said to Alex Kurtzman, "We'll give you some stuff to make it look good." And I thought this looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, compared to Halo, I mean, not to shit on Halo too much, but
No, it deserves to be shit on. The people making that
it's
show should be
Gorn in
ashamed.
this
They should
and
be
the-
ashamed.
I mean, compare the Gorn and the first alien that we meet in this to the elites and the brutes in Halo. It's just like it's no
Night and day.
comparison, you know.
That's one of the best
And,
looking like puppeted creatures, even better than like stuff we've seen in Obi-Wan. Like that character who just dies unceremoniously is like one of the most intricate. Buckley is great, yeah, and the Gorn are great. They're scary. I'm just wondering how do they transition into knowing how to operate a spaceship from the form we see as their adolescent form or their infant form.
Yes.
But
They're at least
they're
intelligent
scary.
enough to pilot spaceships and do different things like that.
But their
I'm sure
growth
we'll
rate
see
is
more
super
Gorn in this.
accelerated, so maybe the brain starts developing once they eat enough protein. Who knows? But they're scary, and I like the
Or
treatment.
they age 50 years like Baby Yoda or 500 years.
Yeah, who knows?
Who fucking
Yeah.
knows?
But it's great. I think again, the show looks incredible. Like you said, I love that Pike has a fireplace in his quarters.
He loves to cook. I mean, that was a Cisco
I love
thing,
him.
too, but
So-
he
Yeah.
loves cooking for the.
But
crew.
he's
He has
less-
Spock to do
he's
the
not
dishes.
fancy like Cisco.
No, he's the salt of the earth. You know, have a beer
But
with
that's
you.
why I see Captain
whiskey.
Pike as kind of a combination between, not Picard, but I would say between Kirk and Cisco. Just his character traits. He's a very Kirk Cisco hybrid to me.
And I can live with it. Yeah.
And he just really wants to connect with his crew one-on-one, like, and that's another Archer thing that I like too, because Archer and Enterprise would have like breakfast with each crew member, like on a day-to-day basis,
Rotation,
and, like,
yeah.
try to connect with them and stuff. So
Oh.
I just appreciate a
That's
captain that gets to
great.
know it.
Like,
their
even Uhura,
crew
even
and-
the cadets, he's very open and encouraging
Yeah.
to. You know.
yeah, it's not like elitist and like, he wants to talk to the ensigns and all that stuff. So good job, Anson
Born to
Mount.
play the role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Season 2, we better get a character named Ensign Mount. I will be very upset. I said it earlier, and they better do it. You can have that
Very
for free,
good.
Paramount. Alex, that's for you.
There you go.
But yeah, I think maybe now it's transition. Talk about another space show on another platform, another plus, as it were. Maybe talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi has finished right after this break. Normies like us.
We're back. The transporter's powering down. Our lightsabers powering up.
I'll do what I
We
must.
move from one universe to the other. That's right. But really, lightsabers are actually kind of powering down too, because we're about to talk about a show where they're not incredibly effective. Would you guys say?
Well, no, you
No.
can get stabbed in the chest, and unless your name is Qui-Gon Jinn, you will survive.
Ooh, you really got me there.
You can
I'm
be
gonna
cut
talk
in
to you for
half.
like 40 minutes though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, well
You can
that's
be
true.
cut in half and be
That's
fine.
OG. Yeah.
Yeah.
With some robot legs, but if you're
But-
stabbed once in the middle, you could die.
If your name's Qui-Gon.
His species, his heart is literally next to his stomach, so he's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, that was the kill shot."
They have
Right.
3 hearts, and if one of them gets damaged, you're dead.
That's where his brain is.
It's near.
So as he's talking to Obi-Wan, all that stuff about take care of the child, that's like a fever dream. He's just like dying.
He just needs a Snickers. He's very hungry too, because it's right next to it. But so Obi-Wan is finished, right? I think there's, the general
now.
consensus is not as good as Mandalorian season 1, but the best thing they've done for TV besides that. Like generally, people say it has
I
decent
guess. No,
highs, but
Best
there's
thing other than the 2 things. I don't know.
Yeah.
well, it's better than Boba Fett. What
than
I'm
Boba Fett, so it's not the worst thing.
I
So,
think it's
yeah.
a series of peaks and valleys, and the peaks are
Yeah.
pretty high and the valleys are pretty low. That's how I look at it, and maybe the general. But how do you guys feel about this? It's over. Full spoilers for Obi-Wan, by the way. Yeah.
My whole take on it is that I think a show was unnecessary. I think it could have been a movie or a
100%.
trilogy of movies. And I think
Not a
the
trilogy, but don't
format-
give them that idea, please, please.
don't-
One
don't
movie.
say
I
Great-
think a
Reel it in.
trilogy would have one movie or a trilogy.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you'd have to cover more ground than this season covers.
With what? What else do you want to see this old dirty
They're
old man
making
do?
a season 2. They will make a season 2 of the show. I guarantee you.
Oh,
They
they
haven't announced
teased
it
it.
yet, but I'm guaranteeing you, if it's was watched by enough people, they will. And I think it's unnecessary. I think the format of the miniseries did not do anything to help this show, because it was felt so padded out. And like you said,
You've
it's
brought
peaks
up
and
the point
valleys.
that sometimes one of you guys has brought this up where it's like, okay, we have the material for a movie, but because we have a streaming service, we must stretch it out, and then it
Yes.
does kind of kill it sometimes.
Totally. Well, a lot of things that would have been a movie in the 90s or even in the early 2000s are now, I think, stretched out to become a prestige TV miniseries. I think that's not just in Star Wars, just that's a whole
Because we need to get people on our streaming service. We need it on our
The word
shelf.
subplot does not exist anymore because when executives hear that, they go, "That's a second plot. That's two. If a thing has two things, that's a show." And you just go,
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So
Well, and it's just again, it's just part of the whole movie industry. The only things being made now are big blockbusters or very small independent films. There's not the middle movie anymore, and that's now
the middle movie is prestige TV. Yeah, you're right, Jacob. So I'm looking at this show, and me and friend of the show, Adam, we have downloaded, for research sake, the HD versions of these episodes, and we've started to try to see if we can cut them into a movie-length thing, like a fan edit.
Wow.
We're working on it. It's slow going.
Genius.
It's hard with the material that's there, but I think I have figured out what the show should have been, and if you would indulge me, I would like to pitch the arc.
Jesus
right?
Christ, absolutely.
So what we have in the show text is, she's kidnapped, Obi-Wan, go get her. I go to the planet and get her. Then I lose her. Then we rescue her again with the rebels. Then we're chased by Darth Vader. I fight Darth Vader. Everyone's good, right? What the show should have been. So we have two rescue scenes. That's the problem.
Okay.
I would have one single rescue scene. And the way I would do it, Obi-Wan, Leia's been stolen. Go do it. Okay, shit, I got to go to this planet. And then Leia is not on Cyberpunk planet. And then he's just doing mystery stuff. He meets Kumail Nanjiani. Where could they be? Then the Inquisitors show up. Hey, you dumb idiot. We tricked you. She's not even here because you're a dumb idiot. And Anakin's alive, and he barely escapes, right? And Kumail Nanjiani tells him how to get out.
Okay, that was my question.
You know?
Are you cutting out Kumail and Mini Ice Cube from this?
No, because that's how we're introducing him to the rebels. So it's like, oh, you got to get out of here. The Inquisitors tricked you. I feel bad because I'm pretending to be a Jedi. I'll get you out of here. Then he meets the girl who's a pretend Imperial. No, the Imperial. Well, Reva's there. Reva's in Cyberpunk planet, and he has to escape them. Yeah, they're like, oh, we got you.
Oh,
then
the lady that sacrifices herself.
When he leaves Cyberpunk planet, he meets her. And they're like, where could Leia be? They probably took her to the Inquisitor Palace. Then we have the one rescue scene in the Inquisitor Palace. And then they barely escape. And then Vader chases them. And he's like, I must go on my own. But instead, we get a rescue. And then she's lost. And then another rescue. So the structure as it is poor. But there's a whole movie where Obi-Wan's investigating by himself in the seedy underground. And it's like, that's much cooler.
Right.
And then he's trapped because he didn't see it coming. Like, it's possible they just didn't do it.
I think that might have made it
Yeah.
better, but at the same time,
Leia was too much in the show is the problem.
Yeah.
She's in it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think my other problem with the show is just that it felt very like low rent. Like even the stuff that was like interesting to me, like the action scenes and stuff, they just didn't feel very well done, and it felt very like TV scale. In a movie, I think there's just a different scale that movies generally have, at least good ones, and I don't know. It's just like, it's like they're all. It just felt like they're all on a Star Wars set. You know,
the volume is very present in several shots, especially like the third episode. And
it really
we
throws
do...
me out of it. And when they're on
Looks
Tatooine,
bad.
it's just like, it literally just looks like they're at Galaxy's Edge, like filming at the cantina or something. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
Doesn't look great.
I think the problem is they were trying to make two shows. One show, and this is what Ewan McGregor is making the show, where Obi-Wan has trauma over Anakin and he needs to work through it. And then the second show is Obi-Wan and Leia becoming best friends on a little adventure, right? And they should not have done the latter. It should have been pirates shooting up Bail Organa's house. We're taking your daughter. And then it's like, who are these guys? Why do they want her? And then we find out, oh, it's the Inquisitors, and they're trying to bait him to bring him to Vader. That's the plot. But he's never like putting two and two together in the show that we have of like, why did they take her? Oh, to get to me. It's like very clumsily done. It could have been a lot better.
Yeah. And one of the things I liked most about the series was the Reva character and her whole arc. And I thought that could have been
handled
done
better.
Yeah. But if you condense her arc into a movie and have her arc kind of mirror Obi-Wan's arc, I think that would have been a better movie. And I would have cut down on the little kid Leia stuff.
Yeah, no, it's about Obi-Wan and Reva.
Right.
They're the two main
Right.
characters. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So
Reva,
anyway.
it's an interesting take on like, her being a youngling, and then like
Who went to the dark side to simply play Vader, right?
But she's
like, to
still
get
like she
revenge.
does a bunch of like evil shit. Like she like cuts someone's hand off. She like kills people.
Yeah.
So she's definitely bad, but she also wants to kill Vader. And I thought they could have done more with that, and like even have her and Obi-Wan team up at some point. But really, it just kind of ended with, Anakin knew the whole time that she was gonna betray him or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just kind of lame.
Yeah. So
And I hope your movie kills her at the end, Mike. Look, here's what
yeah.
I'll say
She
about this.
does not go to Tatooine. She just lays on the floor in that
Please.
hangar. Yeah.
You guys are trying to fix this show. I'm
Right.
trying to figure out.
Unsubscribe from Disney Plus.
No, just I don't want to even be involved with it because I think it's unfixable what it does to just Star Wars canon at large, and I don't want to be gatekeepy about it. But
Mm-hmm.
when I watch this show, nothing in me registers or thinks like, yes, and of course, and then logically, two old men at one point when they meet each other just go bop bop, and then he disappears in his robe, and
Yeah.
everything's done forever.
It's a very different era.
Yeah.
We can do it's epic. It's this. It's exactly what Mike said. Of it's the two minds of the quiet trauma, the sadness. If you make that show, you have to admit that Obi-Wan gives up and does nothing. And I think there's just a subset of other Star Wars fans who are like, Obi-Wan wouldn't ever do nothing. He went on a million adventures. He probably
Right.
saved Leia on one of them. And you're like,
It's like,
probably
no.
saved Leia on one of them. What are you talking about?
Well, that's the
Well, now we
ultimate
know.
thing is that anytime him and Anakin have a confrontation, neither one of them can die because they both need to be
Nothing
alive
can
later.
happen.
Right.
He can't kill
Anything,
Anakin. He just
Jacob.
has to leave.
Nothing
And
of
it's just like,
consequence will happen.
it seems
yeah.
out of character for him to just leave Anakin again after what happened in Revenge of the Sith.
It's out of character for Vader to walk away after he crushed him with rocks. Like, yeah, that's probably good
Yeah.
enough, you know?
Oh, we'll probably meet again a couple times. Can't
yeah,
kill him.
yeah. So intrinsically, things cannot have consequence, but you can do character growth moments like, you didn't kill Anakin, I did, and you see how much Vader like loves being evil, and you're like, damn, okay, if he's
My
like smiling
suggestion
all the
for-
time when he's murdering, like, come on.
Yeah.
He
I
kills
think
he
my
snaps a kid's neck. Disney did that, you know?
Yeah.
My suggestion for a Kenobi movie, like if they hadn't made the show already, what I
Yeah.
would have wanted from a Kenobi show would have been like an entirely unrelated to the Skywalker saga adventure. Like Kenobi, he's still doing stuff. It's just other Jedi stuff. It's not connected to Luke and Leia at all. That's what I would have preferred actually. But of course, there's less like fan service and references that way.
You could have a whole show where he's just trying to find other Jedi survivors and getting them to safety.
Yeah.
And then the Inquisitors are
Yeah.
involved. That's a whole thing. And you have multiple seasons of that.
And you don't need little kid Luke
Absolutely.
and Leia. Like I don't know who asked for that, wants that. I
Yeah.
don't. But I mean, it is what it is.
So Red Letter Media has done 2 reviews, obviously, on the Obi-Wan show. They've covered it in its entirety, and they'll say, like, yeah, you know, Star Wars creatively bankrupt, stuff like that. But it's like, really, canon, like, Colin, you're saying, like, I can't care about canon, and that's what they say, too. Like, you can't care about canon and like Star Wars. It's impossible because it's so messy.
Yeah.
But the
Well,
salient
it's just
point
like
that they
Star
bring up...
Trek.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
Like,
don't
there's
care about
plenty
Star
of
Trek canon anymore
errors in
either.
there too, yeah.
I just
But
don't
I'm
care.
not precious. I say this all the time.
Yeah.
My whole thing is Star Wars was bad when I was a kid. It used to, pedestal wise.
When we were, yeah,
Here's
prequels.
the thing. When people are like, why does anybody even care about this whole thing? Here's the thing. When we were really little kids and our parents were young, they
Mhm.
would say things like, Star Wars is the best movie because that's unlike anything I've ever seen. And they had that whole thing.
Yep.
And Star Wars came around for us, and it was bad. And I never have to be precious about it ever again because I remember when Star Wars was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever it
prequels,
is now, I don't care.
Yeah,
there's
no.
been a movement to see the
That's
prequels in
fine.
a better light than
I'll
they were when
never
they came
believe
out.
that because I lived through it and I
Yeah.
remember what the actual reaction was and how mean and dumb everybody was about it.
Right.
Me included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this show
Uh,
does. Well, I want to off that. It positions itself in a weird space too because it's like a sequel to the prequels, but then a prequel to the original trilogy. Like it's in this weird zone where we're mixing kind of these worlds, and so it is
Yeah.
trying to lift a lot of different things. That's why
I mean,
we
it
get Luke
makes
and
sense
Leia,
from,
but also Anakin. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
it's
it
the
makes
glue.
sense from a perspective of having Ewan McGregor, the current age that he is
Which
now.
I
It's
love.
like,
He was
Yeah.
great in it. Like,
yeah,
I
if we're
think he
gonna
was
make
great
an
in it.
Obi-Wan thing, let's do
Yeah.
it now while he's his current age.
Yep.
But well, first of all, they didn't do what I wanted, and maybe they'll do it in season 2 if they make it. Dexter Jetster cameo. Where's my Dexter
Yeah,
Jetster?
come on.
I'm gonna kill you.
That's all I wanted. Go to
Here's-
Coruscant.
can
go
I
to
just
the
say-
diner.
More fascinating stuff. If you want stuff like that, Jacob, right now in the Marvel Star Wars comic books, I believe like issue like 37 just came out, which shows you like literally how short. Like it's this continuous thing, but like it's manageable if you wanted to jump in.
Right.
As Darth Vader post the killing, you know, sort of like back in the episode 3 after
Post
days,
Order 66. Yeah.
wanting to go visit Queen Amidala's memorial. And when he goes there, there are 6 warriors in front of him who say absolutely not. These women who are badasses, some of them have scars all over their faces, and they say, you will never desecrate this place because we know who you are, because we are the handmaidens of Amidala. And it
That's sick.
flashes back
Wow.
to those
Keira
outfits
Knightley
from
in
episode
there.
1. It's fucking Keira Knightley's actress. I'm not even kidding. It looks
Wow.
exactly like her in the cartoon or in the drawing. Stuff like that. That's the fan service I can deal with. If you want that world, guys, it's there. That's
Yeah.
almost what Star Wars is to me. I don't even need it anymore. Listen to our latest Star Trek episode, the 3rd episode, where I talk about how Star Trek has sex and it's inherently better than Star Wars now. That's what I maybe feel now.
Yeah. I think
honestly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you first.
I'm just agreeing with you, Colin. Like, you know, if you would have asked me, you know, when we first started this podcast, if you would have asked me, do you like Star Wars or Star Trek better? I would have said Star Wars easily. I always was a Star Wars kid growing up. But now, you know, I'm a Trekkie. I'm a full-blown Trekkie.
Yeah.
And, Star Wars has never been in a worse spot, really, than it is now. So
No, it is not living long and prospering. It is dying a slow and painful death.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like, I think doing Transformers taught me a lot. It taught me that eventually everything will just become a corporate shell of itself and just let go. Like, Star Wars sucks now, and it's okay. Everything's going to suck.
When you taste that sweet, sweet Bumblebee, Mike.
Oh,
here's what
man.
I'll say.
When he says hello there for that one moment, I am happy.
See, that moment, I couldn't even take it seriously because it took me out of the moment for him to say hello there. That's the first thing he says to 10-year-old Luke. And you know he only said it because it's a
And then
meme
Luke
that he
pulls out
says that.
7 lightsabers
you
and starts
think?
spinning them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
But
dare
here's
you
what I'll
say
say
that to
about
me?
Star Wars or Star Trek or anything that you loved as a kid, no matter what they make that changes the canon, prequels, sequels, you can always go back to the original and
Look at it in a
still
vacuum.
enjoy that for what it is. And so no matter how many dumb shows they make, it's not going to take away the fact that I still love the movies, certain movies, and that's not going to change, right? So you just have to let it go.
That's where I'm at too, you know? Like, I didn't kill Star Wars, Disney did, right? And I can let that go. I can let the grief go like Obi-Wan and live a normal life. Like, it's dead and it's not my fault.
I mean,
but
I would like
the memories are
new
still
Star
there.
Wars movies. I would like good shows, good movies.
Well, you're going to get movies
play.
whether you want them or not. And you're going to get shows whether you want them
The
or not.
only
Just
movie they have planned now is the untitled
Taika
Taika
Waititi
Waititi
project.
that he doesn't even know what he's going to do.
No.
But after some of these early reviews of Thor: Love and Thunder, I don't know because it's not getting so great reviews either.
Oh,
so.
jeez.
Well, we also know now, obviously, Patty Jenkins, whatever's happening with that Rogue Squadron thing, I personally don't think that's ever going to happen.
Well, with
Rian
Top Gun
Johnson,
success, it might
they
fucking
pushed it.
come
Yeah,
around,
Mike.
dude.
Oh, yeah. We got to
Top Gun with
right
Star
now.
Wars. Yeah, we're
We
ready.
also know that John Watts is making a child-oriented,
The Spider-Man
Amblin-esque Star Trek movie starring Jude Law and like a group of orphans or something.
You know, I
is
love
what it
What?
says.
Law.
Yeah.
A Jude Law
Yeah,
orphan
that sounds like
movie.
it's made for one person, and he happens to be on this podcast.
The
but for
writers
rest
are
of
a
us-
fan of us, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we
No,
have
no.
that Resistance show, the
We're
Cassian
getting Cassian
We
Andor,
have
Yeah.
the Acolyte. We have
Fallen
what's her
Order
name?
2.
Rosario Dawson.
Ahsoka's coming.
Yeah, Ahsoka's coming.
And Ewan McGregor can show up in any of that content, and and Hayden Christensen because flashbacks. You know.
Well, Darth Maul should show up in.
I guess so.
They can do all of that shit with the flashback. Ahsoka is tied to all that. The Mandalorian is tied to Darth Maul because he kills Obi-Wan's girlfriend with the Darksaber. It's all together at this point.
That's the main thing that will get Mando 3. Which should we say? And we all watched, obviously, to the end, Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, we finished.
So full spoilers. Let's just talk about then right at the end. We got Qui-Gon again. This will be the last thing we say about Obi-Wan.
A second.
But Jacob, for Liam
came and said one line.
How's
and
it going?
Right, I'm out.
Did he?
Was that good
Hold
enough
on.
for you?
Did he say? Did he? I think he said. It took you long enough. It should have said it's taken you long enough, right?
Took you long enough.
It's taken.
Beat you long enough.
You long enough.
They got Liam Neeson.
I see
to,
you save someone's
on
daughter.
And they're like, "Hey, can you film this line in front of
the
a
wig
green
looked
screen real
terrible.
quick?"
It did not look like Qui-Gon at all. It looked as bad as Mark Hamill looked in Rise of Star Wars or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
He did not need to speak. I think that should have just been a
And
nod.
obviously,
Credits.
and that's a tease for a season 2 that hasn't been announced or confirmed, but if enough people watch this one, that it'll get a season 2, and maybe Qui-Gon will be a bigger part of that season.
Yeah.
As a Force ghost, I guess.
Yeah. Again, it's fine. It's inconsequential because you can't change anything between episode 3 and episode 4, but it's people like Qui-Gon.
He could push his consciousness in a body like fucking Snoke or whatever, and be like, "I'm Qui-Gon now. Goodbye," and go on an adventure.
Somehow Palpatine has returned. We don't understand how.
I'm Cassian Andor. I've been him the whole time. Mike, you have no fucking clue what he could be. Don't you dare say it can't change it.
Science is cloning. Dark secrets only the Sith knew. Dominic Monaghan told me that only the Sith knew those secrets.
Only the Sith do such dark things.
In the Rise of Star Wars,
Palpatine has returned.
Only the Sith know how to do that. It was explicit, and only a Sith deals with absolutes.
How many times can Obi-Wan cross paths with young Luke or young Leia before it's like, okay, how do you not remember this when you're, 18
exactly.
in 10
you that
years
old
or whatever?
pervert who used to watch me on the
You
playground.
gave me a toy.
No.
When my dad said not to bring a toy over,
Like
and he
the
brought
Leia
it
stuff
over.
is already like, you can't watch A New Hope and be
told
like,
you.
oh, she's supposed to like remember him, like, I don't know. But
I believe your
canon's
name
done.
is Ben Kenobi. You are friends with my father. It's all a code. It's you don't understand. It's their secret code.
we became really good friends when I was like 10.
You remember that
You
adventure
fixed
we
my
went on?
robot. Yeah.
I thought you were my dad.
There's no lines that they're going to be able to record. Okay, don't touch it. That's my thing.
Well, they're
already using a robot
the
for
AI,
James Earl Jones,
yeah.
and Luke Skywalker.
I'm sure
but
they could make her say, "I remember you." I don't know.
George will, who fucking cares? That's my review of Obi-Wan, and he's my favorite character in Star Wars. And there was some decent stuff, but again, even the fights, it's like 2 gray rock quarries, so it's like,
Cool.
Well, let me ask you this, Mike, as the last question.
He does wait.
Yeah.
He does get buried under rocks and rises from the dead. He literally becomes Space Jesus. So we do get confirmed that Obi-Wan Kenobi is Space Jesus.
I guess.
That's the best thing you get, I guess. He has a resurrection. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, go ahead.
So when this was coming out and like Ewan McGregor's doing press for it and stuff, he was super excited about it. And he was like, this is going to be like Logan, okay? This is going to be Logan level writing, okay? And I feel like that's what everything wants to be now. Like Picard, they're all trying to be Logan, where they can wrap up this beloved character in like a really sentimental way. But this ain't Logan, right?
I realized that the take for my old Captain Jean-Luc, this fancy French guy on a spaceship, should be that it's the most serious thing, and we just have to put a pin in it in the most serious way. Yes, Jacob, I 100% agree. That is what they're chasing, and I don't.
Yeah.
Nobody respects the tone of what it was. They just go like,
no.
We're making it in 2022. Things are so dark. Shouldn't it reflect the world?
Yeah.
What if Obi-Wan was like upset about like Trump being put in, and you're like, I don't know. I don't know. Star Wars is goofy to me, and I remember Alec Guinness being an old man and just being goofy, okay?
Sitting on a log as a ghost, yes.
Yes.
Picard was really bad because, and I don't blame Patrick Stewart for taking a paycheck at, 85 or how old he is. Like, get your money,
just
Patrick
eats
Stewart,
weed
but
all day. He doesn't know where he is.
His grandchildren
it's
need
clearly
college
didn't
money.
feel like the same character at all. Like, it's like he forgot how to play Picard from the 80s. But I don't, it's
Yeah, we're
whatever.
not
I can still
talking
go back
about
to
that.
TNG and watch that. So
Exactly. Yeah, all your
all these
franchises that
legacy
you love
sequels,
will get killed.
prequels, yeah,
Yeah.
you just got to go with it. Disney's going to own everything eventually. Just accept that and accept your evil overlords.
Just pick your favorite taxidermied corpse, put it on display every once in a while when you're feeling nostalgic, and then put it away otherwise,
I just wish the state of the world, and Normies, I hope you feel this way too, is that people would just stop telling me to accept things. There's a lot of things that happen when people are like, just accept it, just give up. And I'm just like, okay,
Man, well, that's
world
probably
we
as
live
good of a transition as any to go talk about a world where people are told to just accept things, but it somehow feels better than current reality. The Boys. There's a lot of things you need to accept when it comes to the boys living in that society. And again, this series is just about done this season, but to talk briefly, right, about the boys, my second favorite show on TV after Strange New Worlds. I look forward to those 2 nights of the week.
Oh, it beats it for me. It's the one where
The Boys
I
is number
sit
one
down,
for
I
you.
go, ooh, I text you guys. I go, I got my little show that I'm turning on, and
I watch it with
and
Chris, friend of the show. We do like a watch party on Amazon.
That's really nice.
That's cool.
I text my father first thing in the morning, and by lunchtime with the time conversion, he's like, "Oh, I'm done." I'm like, "Great,
that's very
fantastic. Let's talk."
So we are loving the boys. Yeah.
Yes, the boys, and there's not many shows on right now like this that does the political satire, the political commentary, not just the superhero commentary, and
just satire.
Just satire of the world we live in, the state of things. No other show is really doing that a lot, and I like some political commentary in my shows, and this is really hitting the spot when it comes to that.
But it feels so rich. The whole background world feels so developed, Jacob, because you just, every comment that they make, you go like, oh my God, they're going there, they're doing that. That's the take. Oh my God.
Some of the standouts this season is like A-Train stuff where like he's trying to like co-opt his, history and he's like, he's half-assing it and it's like so ingenuine. Yeah, and like obviously the Trump parallels with Homelander taking over Vought, and there's so much good stuff there, and like I hear a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm sick of superhero stuff, but it's like this show is not. It's like literally character work. There just happens to be superheroes in it, but like the character drama, this show deserves a lot of Emmys, and I think this season we're getting the best performances out of this entire cast that we've seen in the run of the show.
Yeah, it's
firing on all cylinders.
Right. It's not a show about superheroes. It's a show about, superhero movies basically. Like it's a antithesis to
about celebrity culture.
And the wielding of power, whether to influence the masses or do like, terrible acts of violence.
Like you said, like
about power.
The universe is so well developed now. Just think back to season 1 and how much of the lore of this world they've expanded on and built on in a believable way. And I don't know anything about the source material comics, but I know that there's certain
considered worse.
Yeah, and this is like they changed like Eric Kripke, the guy that the showrunner, right?
Supernatural,
Joe's boy.
Supernatural.
Yeah, we love Kripke around
here. Joe's hero.
Mm-hmm. The Contra spoke out right now.
Actually made it like better and like palatable because there's certain things about the comics that. It's just like edgelord for edgelord's sake.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
that's Garth Ennis. That's kind of his thing. He's kind of tasteless.
He's the preacher guy. Like, that's exactly right.
It takes that.
He cut off Quicksilver's arms and legs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
the show takes that edgelord angle, but like refines it to focus on the world we live in, kind of, and holds a mirror to society. And I like shows like that.
Me too. I enjoy those commentaries. The way it deals with like. Sweeping things under the rug, even the way they bring the deep back in, and it's like, dog, this guy like sexually assaulted one of the characters on your TV show or one of the 7, and it's like we're just gonna do this PR play, like, oh, I'm changed, and it's like you see this stuff in real life, and to just see them like shoving it in your face almost, just being like, think about it.
Scientology.
Yeah,
and
it's
a big
wild.
thing that I like from this season is Soldier Boy, and you see the flashbacks of him fighting in like real-world conflicts in like South America, fighting like communists and stuff.
The Contra
scandal.
Yeah,
so good. But
like
then Jacob, of course, the mirroring of, let alone his behavior was bad back then, hey babe, hey toots.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
a
still got
woman
the
from a real
70s
planet.
Sexism and
Cut this
stuff.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When he's transported now, the comments that we're getting of the cause, America's dad makes a strong drink.
Oh,
though.
man.
I mean, it is so good.
It's
He has a hard
seeing
time
him and
seeing two dads
Homelander-
on the street and shit. He's like not
It's just
ready
like,
for
yeah,
this
crazy
world.
look. Yeah.
Him
Yep,
and
yep.
Homelander are both terrible people, obviously, but in different ways. That's very interesting. And then when they meet, and it's like, what would their relationship be like, right? Two
Monstrous.
guys who think they're the best in the world, right?
And it's like
So we
it's
get
like
that big fight scene in the last episode.
So
which is
good.
awesome. And when
Yeah.
you look at what I was surprised about with Soldier Boy is he's like this twisted almost Captain America. Like, what if a guy who's been around since the 40s is in present day? He's going to have some backwards ideals, but then they do
Yeah.
stuff where they make you kind of sympathize for him because his whole team fucking turned on him, and he was just
Yeah.
like Winter Soldier. He's stuck in Russia getting experimented on for like 30
Right.
years. So you kind of
What
feel
if-
bad for him, even though
What
he's a
if the other
shithead.
Avengers hated Captain America because
Yeah.
he's a piece of shit sexist, Mike?
And they sold him to the Russians, but then he's
Sold
getting
him to the
tortured so he has like bad ideas from the 40s that are outdated, whereas Homelander has bad ideas from now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Well,
they're
it's
two sides of bad
Homelander-
ideals, you know.
But Homelander is like a sociopath that knows he's like a bad person, but just doesn't care. Like he knows what a good person would say or believe in, but he doesn't care because
He has no real
strongest and
emotion.
best.
Soldier Boy,
Yeah.
it feels like at least has like an emotional core. It's just
yeah, like Soldier
maybe
Boy
not
seems like a
pointed
real
in the right
person
direction.
who's just a
Little bit of an
sexist that
asshole.
Grew up in
Yeah.
He
the
saw in
70s.
World War II. He understands a real struggle fighting side by side people.
Right.
Homelander, for
was
what it's
grown in a
worth,
lab.
was
Yeah.
grown in a lab and admits that to himself. Is
Yeah.
that a positive or a negative? He understands in a twisted way he's not a human being. He views himself as a Superman, but really he's
superior
right to
to
say,
humans. Yeah.
I'm not a human. Yeah.
Well, and that's the big turning point in this season is
We get our
in prior
Smeagol moment.
seasons, yeah, he is always hiding his true self from the public because he wants to be loved, not feared, right? He would prefer to be loved, but if he can't be loved, he'll be
He'll
feared.
accept
This
being
season,
feared.
He realizes he can say what he truly believes, and a certain, subsect of people will applaud him for it, and
And
make
we
them
see shades
his
of
hero.
that, right, in the real world too.
nasty
Right?
question. He says that, Jacob.
Yeah,
When Trump
yeah.
said
What a nasty
nasty woman
Fake
to that
news. We
reporter.
get fake
Yeah, he
news
says
talk.
fake
Yeah.
news.
Because
It's
he
so
lets the
good.
mask
not
up for a
subtle,
second. He
let's
has that
say.
rant on TV, but then
I am
people
better.
like it. So he's like, wait, people
I'm
like
better.
me saying this stuff. I can say that, and people like it.
And then he's just
Subset
And now
does.
no one can control him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's scary. And then it's interesting to see now, where we're leaving off again, where we're recording. It takes three of them. We got Butcher on V, and all that stuff. It takes Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy to even get him down, and they almost do it, but he still gets away. But he's shook now. He's got a bruise on his face. Like, he's going to have to talk to Ashley, and she's going to see it. Like, he is human now.
Interesting.
Right.
He bleeds, so to speak.
And the other thing is, Stan Edgar, which is
Gus Fring.
Giancarlo.
Right.
Yes, that's
Far Cry
right.
6. Yeah, whatever.
That's right.
Basically, Gus Fring. So basically,
America's villain,
That's right.
yeah, Homelander kind of double crosses him, and they have that scene where he's like, you've got everything you wanted, but I think you're gonna fail because you don't know how to run this company. And I
Bit
was
off more
reading
than
this
you
thing
can chew.
online of like the parallels between Homelander and Trump, obviously. But Homelander
Oh.
actually being in charge now and appointing like his lackeys. So like he appoints the Deep to run the
Cronies.
computers or
CSI
whatever.
division, yeah.
Yeah. But then later he's like, the Deep, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like he fires like most of the staff and it's just like incompetent. It's like that's what
Right.
happens when a
Manafort.
dictator
It's,
comes
it's
in.
all of them.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
and it points
uh-huh.
all his lackeys that are useless. Like, yeah,
All
so
of his
he's
yes
realizing now,
men,
he's like,
yeah.
oh, maybe I can't run this company by myself.
And then he's getting his ass kicked. So now he's like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. And that's the first time we've
So
ever
it's just
seen him
like-
kind of be unsure of himself, which makes him
Yeah.
more dangerous, right?
Totally.
Give Anthony
a lot
Starr
of
an
interesting
Oscar.
Stuff there. Yeah, he's great. We love Huey. We love Quaid, Jack Quaid.
Oh my God, he's killing it this
yeah.
episode or this season. Erin Moriarty is Starlight. It's absolutely insane how good she is. You mentioned the Deep, Chase Crawford,
Mother's
a
Milk.
guy who looks like he has not aged. Alonzo Ball, Mother's Milk is insane. But let's say there's one guy, boy, who's
Oi.
maybe giving
Oi, Kent.
the greatest performance of all time. And I will say, we're gonna do a full episode,
Bones.
right? We're gonna do when we
Bones
do the finale.
McCoy.
Will we just do a boys episode, right, for season 3?
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it
okay.
up.
So I'll give the longer story of what happens in it. But the scene with him and Maeve is the Emmy moment, I think, this season, and I would love to see him get paid off for that.
What a scene. I think he's
Maeve.
great.
Do we think Maeve is even still alive?
I'm worried.
I'm worried
He's
too.
in rehab, right?
Yeah, supposedly. But also
Yeah,
you get
that
stuff
was
with
good.
Frenchie and Kimiko, like, caring for
Yeah.
Kara, and it's
Worried.
she's like so happy to not have her powers, right?
That's
but
all
now
she
it's
wants
like,
is to not have powers, just to be normal.
but now she needs them, and she has that conversation
And
with
me,
Ryan.
heavy thing.
I can't pick it up.
Can't
She's
pick
so
up.
happy. Yeah, like
no.
that stuff is heartbreaking, man, and you're just I'm so worried for them. But yeah, the work that they do with character, and that's like an Eric Kripke thing. Like you watch Supernatural, like it's really heavy on character. Like they do good pathos, and this is just dripping with it. And
it's so
2 episodes left where we're at now.
Yeah.
So
Insane.
And I think it's just so well written, and the fact that you can talk about literally like a tertiary character like A-Train, and you get this whole subplot with, this other villain that's like
he's Blue
beating
Hawk.
black people up and stuff.
What
It's
an
like,
ensemble.
And then
Yeah.
A-Train wants this justice, and then he brings him to do the speech, and then his brother gets hurt, and then he sees
Yeah.
what it's like to be on the other side of superhero violence on
And
your
that's
loved ones,
something-
like he did to Huey. He has to
Started
see
the
the
whole
effect.
show.
totally.
Yeah.
And
He's come full
that's
circle.
something that's from season 1 I've loved about the show, is that they can take their minor characters and even within the 7, they all have different motivations. Like A-Train has different motivations. Black Noir, we're seeing that he has his own motivations. He
Yeah.
was part of Soldier Boy's group back in the day.
And he's
It's
like,
just like,
fuck
they're
this.
not all just doing what Homelander wants. Like they all have their own complex motivations. It's just a really well written show, I think.
Yeah, so I think for anybody that's like, oh, I don't watch superhero shows anymore. Like I have a Marvel fatigue. I haven't watched Miss Marvel yet. Like, oh, Mark,
Yeah.
I was watching Moon Knight. I got kind of sick of it, even though I like that enough,
There he
right?
is.
I'm hitting fatigue. But this show is the exception because it's so
Yeah.
not a superhero show, even though it
No.
looks like it on its face.
And it's
I
just
hear
so
that.
well written.
Yeah.
People say, I'll hear people be like, "No, I won't do The Boys. That's just another superhero show."
It's like,
I'll
it's
say,
not.
like, no,
It's the
you-
antithesis
yeah.
of a superhero.
Even
Exactly.
Invincible is a higher bar to clear. Like
Yes.
that's more of a superhero show than this.
all
is.
the
If
people
anything,
that you're
it's their
rooting
point
for-
of view. Yeah.
Yeah.
are the people that hate superheroes. It's a super.
Yeah.
It's a superhero show about how superheroes
Yes,
suck.
exactly. It's the
Yeah.
point of view of someone who's like, I hate superhero shows. I've got a superhero show for you.
It's
Yeah.
made about people who hate soups. Yeah, it's great. And then I like little stuff too. Like obviously when Huey teleports, he becomes naked. He teleports him and Starlight out, and then they have the most honest character conversation, literally in the nude. It's like a
Right.
very over your head metaphor, but like they're bearing their true selves to each other for the first time. And it's like
Meanwhile, there's
that's
a-
writing. you
Yeah.
know?
Meanwhile, there's a giant superhero orgy happening in the house, and then they all get blasted by Soldier Boys.
Uh-huh.
Blast.
Yeah.
Mike, did you read that Hideo Kojima just started watching the show and he tweeted out, "I'm canceling a project because it's actually too close to
It's
the idea
too
of The
similar. I
Boys."
did see that.
I wonder if you
yeah.
played someone who killed superheroes, right, or a team of people.
That's
Well,
I could see
Hideo
Kojima doing
would
that.
never make something that's loosely
Referential.
based on something or
From
too
a
close to
Hollywood or
something,
American
right?
property.
Not like Metal Gear
Mm.
Solid is,
Yeah.
Snake
But,
Plissken is not Escape from New York.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No.
No, but I think he's
yeah.
a fan. I think he liked The Boys, right?
I think
No,
so,
but
too.
again, he didn't want to
positive
be
about
derivative. But that's funny
Yeah.
that he was. I would like to see that concept, honestly.
I
Like,
would
I don't
still
care.
like to see that play out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I adore this show. I've been adoring it. I think this season is the strongest. Honestly, I think it's better than season 1. Like the amount of stuff happening right now,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving it, and I'm looking forward to.
I like
see.
season 2 a lot too. Like I think that they've all been.
There's no weak
they've
seasons.
been building
I
on
guess.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always think,
Very
where are they going to go
rewatchable.
from here? Where are they going to go from here?
So last
Even
question. Then
last
we have 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
What happens?
Well, that's the
I
thing. I
can't-
don't know where
predictions.
they're going to go because all the time I'm like, where do they go from here? They have the big
They
soup
swerve.
battle in this one. And it's like, where do you go from here? Homeland versus Soldier Boy. We did that.
But beyond that, Jacob, you said it so perfectly of Eric Kripke as just this narrative, interesting figure. As someone who's been a showrunner for so long, written so many screenplays, is so good at storytelling. You say you don't know where it's going. to have moments, and again, we're going to do this big episode, but to have Huey and Starlight confront each other about the troubles of their relationships in that honest moment where he's like, I'm just coming clean, here's all this stuff.
On our first date, you know, that you said you didn't care. Like, that goes all the way back.
And I'm like, but this is drama that a lesser storyteller would have stretched out for the whole 10, you know? The fact that he just is like, hey, curveball, here's what you expected and what you didn't expect, and I'm doing this. It's impossible to gauge.
Yeah. I think Star Trek is my favorite show on TV just because it fills me with joy when it comes on. And, you know, but I do think, like, the craft and the writing, like, this show deserves so many fucking Emmys, from performances to writing. It's insane.
Costume, at least. I say it every time I know. They have the best costumes on television.
Star Trek, I might kind of disagree.
I mean, even what Mother's Milk wears, what Butcher wears, they're so distinct, even outside of the superhero costumes.
Erin Moriarty, when she's not Starlight, there's this clear character. I know what
Starlight's going to wear. She's going to wear a hoodie. She's going to wear her casual wear stuff. It's just like, what other show do you watch where you're like, I know every character so well. I know the costumes the normal people are going to wear.
Yeah, French will have a bleached T-shirt with some holes in it. Like, you kind of know. Yeah, it's very good, especially with streetwear. It's hard to do that.
Over it.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hate to give old
gonna wear a
Jeff
band shirt from the 80s.
Credit, but
that's right. And he wore his season 1 shirt today when he confronted Moriarty. So
yeah,
a lot of throwbacks, but I love it. Here's my thing: Homelander's a piece of shit. He needs to die. The problem is when he does, the show needs to end. Like, once Anthony Starr is gone, so whether they stretch it one more season, great. But, like, the show cannot survive without a Homelander presence, I don't think. He's too good. So if they're going to do this show, it should end with Homelander being vanquished and then a little bit of wrap-up. That's how I look at it.
Can they even kill Homelander? Like, can he even be killed?
That's the question. Because now he could just go haywire because, like, he runs Vought. He's vulnerable. He could just start killing millions of people, and then the next season is just like, holy shit, apocalypse, we need to shut this down, and there's no rules, right?
And that's why I've always left wondering, like, where are they going to go from here? Because it always seems like the stakes are raised every time. It's like, well, they can't get, the stakes can't go higher than they are now. But
you're all just going to die.
Yeah.
At some point, like, he's just going to fucking kill everyone and go on a rampage or something. But...
True. But we'll see. Well, talking about a show... with no bad seasons, let's quickly talk about the other big show that's released this weekend. People have watched Netflix side, Stranger Things, season 4. We got the first part of it. I think it was excellent. We're getting the second part of it. Many of you have already seen it. Hopefully, it was good. But
and Colin, you weren't on our Stranger Things episode from a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I was in another dimension.
You were in the upside down.
Upside down.
Yeah,
you went through the Watergate.
Tell Nancy hello. We hope she's okay.
I just can't.
What do you think
you guys did a great one.
Far,
I loved it so much. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I could not adore it more. I've been rewatching. I'm almost done with season 2 now. I'm trying to hold off. I'm going to try to watch all of season 3 and then redo the 4. So I might be pretty delayed on catching up on these new ones. But I just love that show. I adore it. I think if you guys haven't watched, here's a new thing since your episode has come out. If you guys haven't watched the 4-hour application supercut that they get down to, of course, like 30 seconds for TikToking, of Jamie Campbell Bower getting applied the makeup to play Vecna. It is astoundingly interesting. And what an interesting talent. I'm not too familiar with him. Obviously, he played young Grindelwald in our favorite series.
Oh, Jesus, he did.
We all know that.
I get Pennywise vibes. Who's the actor?
He also hung out with Grindelwald in Sweeney Todd, where he plays his little henchman in that movie as well. A little Johnny Depp hangout. So very weird. But just if you look up interviews with the guy, he's so interesting. He would put the makeup on, and then he would ask a PA and said, can you ask one of the assistant directors if I can get 30 minutes out of the schedule to, after I get the application on, to go in a dark room and sit completely alone as Vecna in darkness, just like feeling what it's like to be this like dark, solitary creature. And I gotta say, I know that sounds up its own ass. I think it fucking shows, because that's a crazy performance he's pulling off as that character.
Oh, man, yeah. I agree 100%. And I think, finding out later that he was in the makeup And when you see his human form, kind of at that last episode that we got, and that stare that he gives, it translates like you know it's the same guy when Vecna's looking like staring at you.
Because it's so much practical prosthetics too, Mike. It's great
Yeah.
that it's not just this. You know, it's not
Even the hand is practical.
Pirates of the Caribbean where it's just the eyes. You know, you're getting him. Yeah, you're getting the practical.
Yeah. No, they did an excellent job.
I love
Incredible.
it.
Not a lot of people, real quick. He loves spiders, and I haven't seen a lot of people on the internet.
I understand that part.
No. But the point I'm making, and I haven't seen reviewers because I watched a lot of reviews of the first part. No one's brought up the point that he loves spiders, and the Mind Flayer is very much a big ass spider. So he's like, I want to serve a big spider lord.
He has the
and he found his spider lord. Yeah.
Right.
But like the Mind Flayer's above him in the org chart, right? He's a general. So it makes sense.
I don't know about that. That's my biggest question about
Justin
Stranger
said.
Things.
I
don't know.
In D&D though, and
Here's how bad I've gone. I've gone to the
Flayer.
Stranger Things wiki where literally people will make claims like once number one was hit by the lightning of the Mind Flayer when he crossed to the Upside Down. The Mind Flayer's transformative beam, and I'm like, you don't know. There's no confirmation of any of that.
Did 11 create the Upside Down when she
She opened the first portal.
Yeah,
it was already there. Maybe, who knows? I had to read the wiki.
We'll get answers, and that's the thing is season 5. The Duffer Brothers have said like we're getting answers, like it's all gonna wrap up. So
I think the boys should end in 4. This should end in 5.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to. Like
don't stretch them.
It's the last season.
It's done. Yeah.
Yeah, season 5.
And those kids, Finn Wolfhard, God bless his heart, having to come out and being like, hey, it's been 3 months since our last adventure, ducking down from the ceiling as he comes out, and you're like, oh,
what fucking growth hormone do they give that guy, dude? He's so tall.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I
mean, even the older kids that are, supposed to be college age or something are like 30 now. So, but it's cool.
That's the nature of TV. We had 30 years old in Dawson Creek for like 10 years.
But I love the horror references. Obviously, the 80s horror reference in this. We get obviously a big Carrie moment. We got Robert Englund playing Vecna's dad or whatever. The guy,
Freddy, of course, a great homage. But Jacob,
Crowley
you're
or whatever.
All the Carpenters right now. It's so Thing-esque, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a Silence of the Lambs reference when they go meet him in the prison too. That's very Clarice and Hannibal, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's a lot.
So.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. And any predictions for the last 2 episodes?
Well, the thing is, they say how many people did they tease were going to die? Was it 4 characters?
Is that true? They teased an amount.
Let me pull it up because we can guess. That'll be our game.
I have always said, and it's interesting that Millie Bobby Brown has come around on this, but I've always said in the past that if they really want these to emulate 80s movies, like the movies that it does, they need to just start replacing the actors for a couple seasons, because that's what it was like for some of those movies when we were kids. Yeah. Millie Bobby Brown said, we need to start killing off some people. I think that's interesting. I would agree with her there. I'm very pro the team. I think Steve is going to be the one who bites it this season.
Steve, from a storytelling perspective, makes the most sense and would be the most like emotionally affecting.
Just devastating, yeah.
So if they have the kind of guts to do it, I think they should kill Steve. I don't like when writers like, oh, we want to kill this character, but they're too popular or whatever. We need to bring Steve back for season 5. No, kill him off. Like it would have a huge emotional impact on the story.
I can't see the numbers. I saw it on an article today that they said, oh, they're teasing X amount. So let's say for our cases, let's go under and let's say 3 because it's more than 2 what they said.
Wow.
So if we're gonna think 3, Steve might be 1.
But does like Vecna count as a character?
No. I think the people we like. Yeah.
Wow.
I would be worried about Hopper.
I would think Hopper just because of contracts. You got to assume that David Harbour at this point
the
is
Red
like,
Guardian's
got
to be in Black Widow too.
Like, money, baby.
Well, again, in his arc in the season, it would make sense if he died after coming back and maybe sacrificing himself for
to show 11 what a real papa is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A real papa wouldn't put you in danger. He would save you from it, right? She needs that in her life. Yeah. I
just want to put a save on somebody and say,
oh,
I would
what's
be
the save?
very.
I love it.
Keep him alive, man. That I would be so bummed out if one of the new characters was taken away. And Eddie, I mean, it's
Eddie.
that my
I don't
obvious
want
choice
Eddie to go.
He's great. He's great.
If they came into this and were like, he's just a 1-season character, it's not going to matter. This is one of those things where I do go, Jacob. He's so popular. You would be insane to take this character away.
He must go to season 5. Yes.
Well, here's the thing. You think a major character like one of the original kids, I'm talking Will, Mike, Dustin
and Lucas,
or 11. Do you think any of those 5 are going to die? Or
I think
I'll throw
11
in,
would
Max.
maybe be the most obvious.
Here's what I think. No, I think Mike is the most obvious. What if you lose Mike and Hopper? You lost the 2 things you liked the most. Now you have fucking beef with Mind Flayer and Vecna, and in season 5, there will be blood.
Mike,
I think Mike would be a good one. Yeah.
The first episode, Mike, the comic that those kids say they're gonna race for in the first one, when Will goes missing, when he runs away from Dustin and gets picked up, is the Dark Phoenix book. You're pitching such an interesting season 5 of get rid of all of 11's supports. What if she was the villain? What if one somehow takes over her brain for the last season? Would be very interesting.
Like you try to help these people and they give you nothing, right? Join us kind of thing. Damn.
I think that makes sense.
An element of the Upside Down invades, yeah.
One thing about this season is that it kind of goes away from sort of the main characters of earlier seasons, like Mike and 11. Mike doesn't have a lot
Will
to do
is
anymore
sidelined.
Yeah, like Mike was like maybe the audience POV character in the first season. He's become kind of irrelevant. He's like 11's boyfriend, but he doesn't have much else to do. Even in this, he's mainly driving around in that van with those, basically the C.
Which I love Argyle.
Scooby-Doo gang, yeah,
the Scooby-Doo gang, yeah. Except there's no mystery. Just what are you doing?
But other characters like, Dustin and Lucas and Max have kind of outshone him in this season.
And we talked about on our episode, like Max was one of my least favorite characters from season 2. And she is the character
She's really
for
grown
this
on
season.
me, yeah.
She's the POV character. This season,
And I
Trauma again did it better than Obi-Wan.
And can I say, because you guys didn't really talk about it too much, and I lament that the pop culture moves so fast that we lost these. You forget that Sadie Sink was the star of Fear Street, that show that the R.L. Stein we loved.
On a Halloween.
I would love to see this girl kind of take off more.
She's great in 80s inspired horror movies. That's
Right.
But like I said in our episode, I think she's the best actor of all the kid actors.
Agreed.
Like, from her age group. Maybe not some of the older ones like Steve and them, but I think
in her age group,
I think they're all good.
They don't ask Dustin to do a lot, like dramatically. Dustin's great in his role.
Yeah.
Lucas doesn't do a ton. Michael's gone. Yeah,
but she can really act, and I think she's going to be in like movies and stuff and have a career outside of Stranger Things.
When her brother's like, part of you wanted me to die, like she's selling that scene like so well. Like
I think there's an interesting dilemma that you have to do when you write for children, where you kind of have to look at which ones are developing at certain rates, and the fact of the matter is that Dustin's character hasn't changed because
he's got his niche.
Mattizello.
Yeah.
He's really embracing his archetype, and they can kind of go, we know what to do with you every season. But there's not going to be, barring him growing 2 feet, where they have to write in like, well, this is a huge change. We have to like make a character thing. Meanwhile, characters like Sadie Sink, who are maturing and growing up, they're like, oh, you can handle this really well. Let's give it to you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And that's like, I don't think Mike is the best actor in the group, even though Finn Wolfhard, he's very popular with a certain age group.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the greatest actor out of all those kids. Dustin, I think the big thing they discovered with him was him and Steve relationship.
The likability. There are characters that they pluck where they go, we're safe to put you with anybody, and we know it's going to work. And they're doing that with Robin.
Always the goddamn babysitter. And Robin is like, throw her with anybody. Like we're talking about.
And they're like, pedigree. Nancy didn't get a lot to do last season. Let's pair her up with a new fan favorite character. And I think it works out. The Duffer Brothers are very good at looking at who they've got and sort of mixing the pot.
And which is what's been their ensemble cast. Like there's so many new characters of the last couple seasons that have entered the cast in interesting ways.
Yeah.
Right, and that's a classic to go back to Strange New Worlds. Like that's a classic Star Trek thing. Is like to make an episode, just take a character that doesn't hang out with another character a lot and put them together.
See
And
what
so
would happen.
they're doing that a lot in Stranger Things this season, where we're getting different combinations, and it's
And
really
that's why
refreshing.
I think Eddie, you can't kill Eddie. We need him for season 5.
I wanted Chrissy to survive. I thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
The outcast and the head cheerleader. Like, what if they
Yeah.
had a connection? We talked about it, but Eddie
Breakfast
needs
Club.
to survive. Yeah, exactly.
So how do we make it, guys? How do we combine them to get our favorite show, Stranger Things New World?
Stranger New Worlds.
Stranger New Things World.
So when Hopper dies, Anson Mount becomes the sheriff.
Hopper, is it true you
Sheriff
saw
Ike.
your future and that you end up like burned and in a chair that
I end up
beats?
in a Russian prison fighting a Demogorgon. It's
I ain't
fucking
going down that
crazy.
way, kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
A
and needless to say,
Demogorgon eats him.
I think we're excited though for the end of this. I don't know
Yes.
where
Very
it's going
much.
to go.
I would have thought
Kate
the
Bush is
peak-
top of the charts,
but buddy, it's
I
incredible.
was gonna wear my I just want to say I was gonna wear my Kate Bush shirt the week that we did the episode. And I'm
well,
just
we can
mad.
do it
Very
when we
cool.
finish it.
Just for
Yeah.
this scenario.
Very, very
It's
cool.
all right. It's all
I
right.
would have thought the peak of popularity was Baskin Robbins are turned into scoops of the Hoy. It's
Yep.
4th of July weekend. Everybody's watching Stranger Things. Are you binging it? That season 3 release, it was like, this is done. It'll never be big again. And to
Yeah.
have it now where people are like, what do you mean we only got half of it? Well, let's talk about it forever and make it the biggest show in the world. And fuck Obi-Wan. We'll still talk about the whole discourse over that, even though it's episodic. And Kate Bush will revitalize her career. You're like,
Yeah.
that this 80s Stephen King inspired thing has that power. That's I love an original.
They're like,
property.
we will go head to head with Obi-Wan. We don't give a fuck.
That's incredible to me.
Netflix needs a
we're
win
all
like
very
this.
positive on it, but I think it became kind of the cool thing to like hate on Stranger Things because
It did dip in 2 and
especially
3
with
a little
season
bit.
2 and 3, and people are just like, I don't remember it. Like I watch it and it just kind of leaves my head as soon as I watch it, but I don't feel that way about this season especially. Like I think
No.
the horror elements and the deeper
Even
thematic
binging
elements,
it doesn't fall out of my head.
No.
Like, which we
No.
kind of
figured it out.
surmise that might be part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see where it goes. I think it's great. And hopefully they finish strong. We're getting 2 giant episodes is what it is. It's like 2 movie-length
One of them's
episodes
2
to finish it.
hours.
Yeah, so.
I'm
But
excited.
again, I watch this whole thing in one day, so I don't care what format it is. I'll watch 4 hours in a row. You know?
And Colin, like you mentioned, obviously I've been watching a lot of Star Trek, but I've also been in a very 80s space, watching John Carpenter, watching all these 80s horror, Stephen King,
Yep.
Christine, that's Stephen King and John Carpenter.
Mhm.
Oh my god,
And
that's the
I'm
perfect one to watch for this. That's really
That is
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah,
Uh,
you're in the
And
zone.
Colin, and I just want to shout out the Blank Check podcast, a podcast that Colin's talked about before, and I've finally got into it, and
Love
so I've
it.
been going through the John Carpenter filmography and just loving it. So
Oh, that's
Pay
fun.
for the Patreon episode so you can listen to the Star Trek movie commentaries.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think that's pretty good. We talked about kind of the 3 main things that are going on, right? We want to get to maybe final thoughts and
so
wrap up
many.
for our It's so many, but that's what's fun
There's-
about the 200th episode.
You're gonna get more normies.
You'll get more comprehensive coverage of a great many topics going forward. So yeah, we'll catch you on the other side for the wrap up. Thanks for riding along for number 200. Hope it's enjoyable. On the upside down, we're gonna flip sides. Yeah. Okay.
no one's
Good.
watching Miss Marvel.
No.
We're back. We're not watching Miss Marvel because we're talking normies like us, where
Yeah.
it's a 2-hour episode for the 200th episode, folks.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Yeah.
here's something I wanted to mention. I was playing with the idea of a segue, but couldn't dial it in. But so Stranger Things, right? We have the second part coming out. I have just started the Umbrella Academy, and I'm thinking, why did you do this to this show, Netflix? Why did you just put it in the middle of like the most anticipated thing to like die? And I'm enjoying it. It's cute. It's enjoyable. I'm not going to get too into it, but it's good. Obviously we get Vanya becoming Victor. We get Elliot Page kind of doing a thing, and it's like that's handled very well. And like it's cool to have representation and all that. And like similar to Star Trek, we're getting a lot of good stuff on the screen.
Yeah.
But you're burying this show.
Yes.
In between the
Mike,
Stranger Things. Yeah.
I was telling you
It's a
about
death
how-
sentence.
yeah, on the internet. So they had a billboard that said Netflix had a billboard and said, "I heard a rumor someone dies this season."
Oh.
Which obviously I heard a rumor is a big
Line
thing
from
Umbrella.
Umbrella Academy. That's the power.
Yeah.
If she says,
Yeah.
I have a rumor, it happens. Yeah.
So they had this billboard, but it's posted like on Twitter, and all the comments are like, thinking
Is
it's
it Eddie
about
Munson?
Stranger Things. Yeah, they're like,
Right. Steve Harrington?
better not be fucking Steve. And no
Yeah,
one, and
yeah.
they even had an umbrella like on the billboard too. But
Yeah, I think I
there's a
saw
comment
it.
that's like, what's the umbrella supposed to represent? Like, is it going to be raining in the Stranger Things or something? Like, nobody knew that it was for the Umbrella Academy.
Now,
Yeah.
That's how bad
you
they
two,
are marketing this show.
you two talked about this on the Stranger Things episodes that you guys did with Joe recently, where you said episodic, you had the debate of blah, 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 release it, how you should release it, cultural conversation stuff, right? It's what my father would call peak TV, the universe that we're in now. But I correct him, and I'll say to you guys as well, it's not. It's peak content. It's peak films. It's peak TV. I said the thing in the Northman episode, where every time now a movie comes out, people go, well, this is actually the most important director who's making a movie. They can't all be that way.
Right.
Well, this is the most important streaming show that's released this month, this week, this day.
Yeah.
They can't all be. It's
No.
impossible. Normies, when you go like, why do they do these Whatcha episodes? Well, it's almost like there's too much stuff for us to even fucking cover that we couldn't even in 200 episodes get to everything we want to talk about.
I could relegate myself to just Netflix and watch 24 hours a day and not get through all of it in a lifetime. You know what I mean? There's too
so
much content. Yeah.
And Colin, I would say we're not in peak TV anymore. We're post-peak TV, because I think peak TV was probably in the 2000s when you had Sopranos.
It was good.
You
It
had
was
The Wire.
It was
you had
good
Breaking
quality.
Bad, Mad Men, early Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Lost, all these huge shows that I don't think, even with the amount of streaming content that there is now, you don't have the prestige of Sopranos and Mad Men and Breaking Bad. Like, there's not those shows anymore. So I would say
No,
we're
it's a different
post-peak
world.
TV, and we're living in a, like you said, a content world where everything's just content. It's not a TV show. It's not a series. It's just content.
And again, Red Letter Media brought up this point where it's like, how do TV shows make money? Because advertisements run in between them. Streaming services, you just pay your money. So literally, they just want to have the Obi-Wan logo on their homepage. They just want to have a Star Trek logo. Like, it's not even about, is it good? Is it whatever?
Oh,
we just need to fill the shelves so that it looks like we have a fully stocked store that you're subscribing to every
we just
month.
need subscribers to our subscription.
And we just got to throw. So instead of making a movie for theaters for Obi-Wan, which you should have, you make it a TV show so that you have a thing for your subscribers to see. Oh, okay, at least they have things in stock.
Yes.
Right.
And we laughed. We said about Paramount, if you don't want to remake or touch the things you make, you can make a show about how important your thing is anyways. Just make a show about making The Godfather. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We laughed. Though, what's happening at Warner Brothers now,
Give yourself the
what's
reach
happening
around,
across
you know?
the industry. It's terrible.
To quote the Joker.
Look, I'm going to say this. COVID costs raise the cost of everything, how productions are made, okay. A lot of below-the-line people, you know, not your art directors, not your cinematographers, not them, the assistants, the people who do the actual stuff are getting cut and losing their jobs, unfortunately. Then you look at what Warner Brothers is doing right now, where they just got sold to a TV channel that makes Survivor and things like that. Somehow can afford to purchase up the people who made Wizard of Oz and things like that. Like, you need to understand
everything
this
is
world
owned
that
by
we
like
live in
5
now.
companies now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that all that stuff, and that this David Zaslav, the CEO, coming out and being like, what do you mean? I don't understand. What's the issue with this? Why would I put millions of dollars into making something where I hope I can get an Oscar when I make a reality television show for $10 and 1 billion people watch it? What's the difference? Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we're heading, everybody. And Jacob said that thing about Disney owning everybody and all this other stuff and this shell game of companies and content.
Like a VOT.
It's terrifying, and we are all going to be logging into VOT Plus. To
VOT
watch
Plus
Trailers
Max,
to
yeah.
Africa, because it's very important.
Uh-huh.
And it's, again, I said it earlier, that everybody has this attitude now of, and you just need to accept it. You just need to accept it. That's not true. And I'm not just talking about pirating. I'm not talking about anything about that. I'm literally saying you have the power now, and we've never had this more in our lives, to decide what you want, what you like, and how it goes. And again, I'll reference Sonic. That's bullying. I understand that. And I'm not promoting it, okay?
No.
What I'm saying is we have all never had our voice, quote unquote, be more powerful if that voice equates to a collective. And think about how you want to view your content, what you want to view as that content, and I would urge you to still make those communities where you do voices and stuff. Tumblr has obviously changed a lot, but there were incredible cultures on there that kept shows like Supernatural on for 20 seasons for a reason, instead of canceling them after the first one when people really weren't watching them, because there were vocal, excited people going, this is for me, this is my thing, what can I do to help it and create it? Right. And there's avenues like Patreon, all that stuff, where you can give your funds directly to people now in such incredible, impressive ways. I would urge everyone to explore those avenues.
I think that's a great point. And I think there's been a trend, with media, especially franchises too, where it's like you either like all of it or you're a hater and fuck you, right? But like the best thing to do is use your voice to identify the things that are maybe the best of that franchise. Like, Strange New Worlds, I consider the best of current Star Trek, and advocate for that to other people and to, really let them know that this is what we're looking for, not just whatever you decided to put on the shelf. We can kind of help guide that, I guess, consciously if we kind of work together. I like that.
Well, Colin, as an example, you mentioned The Offer, the Godfather making of show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been this new trend of like, if you don't have a story, just base it on a real life event and just have like these heightened characters. Like there was the Lakers HBO show.
Anna Delvey, the whole crop of, strange true crime. You're right. Yeah.
And we've had all these shows about companies like the WeWork show and the Uber show.
Yes.
And
God, I forgot about those.
Oh my God, what a trend.
Yeah, the Theranos show. But The Offer, I think, is like the absolutely great example of the nadir of like where content is nowadays, where it's like you can get a show funded that's about the making of The Godfather that has Dan Fogelberg or whatever playing Francis Ford Coppola. But meanwhile, the real Francis Ford Coppola can't get funding for like a new movie that he wants to make. So we'd rather make this show that's like living in nostalgia about this thing rather than give money to the creator of that thing to make an original movie,
Yeah.
So I think that just says everything about like where we're at right now.
I can't believe I've never put that together.
That is wild. I've never had that thought either.
Like Francis Ford Coppola is still alive. He's still trying to make movies. Like
his daughter's making movies.
Your streaming service keeps saying I'm a genius. Could I make something on it?
Right.
No.
We don't see the potential in that. We just want to make the thing about talking about you being a genius. We don't want to let you be one. Right.
We need Miles Teller to be in it. Yeah.
I'm sad now. Well, he has a great mustache in Top Gun.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Lead with that bleak example.
Thank you.
It's as bleak as everything else in the world, like I was saying. But again, it's all a choice. It's all a choice. In 200 episodes, you're choosing to listen to this podcast. You're choosing the ones you want to listen to. You're making the choice there. Keep doing it. That's all I'm saying. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very I'm pro-choice. I think you should be allowed to make the choice that you want with your
Mike.
content.
This whole podcast. Let's say it right now. Are you pro-choice?
Have we done it?
I'm very pro-choice.
There we go. It started with the hammer
all
joke.
All humans should be able to choose whatever they want to do in life at all times.
Jesus Christ.
Don't bother me. God.
What a controversial opinion.
Who knew that in 2018 the society would look like it does? But there's a lot of content that's come out, and we've talked about a lot of content. And sometimes that's what you need is a little escapism. So
that's right. And we hope that we can keep entertaining you normies and you keep listening to our episodes for another 200 years or 200 episodes.
Rick and Morty for 1,000 years. 200
years
to infinity.
Me secret.
Yes. Disney, they're gonna make me a digital copy.
But hopefully we can provide a little bit of escapism, a little bit of entertainment to your day in this bleak world that we live in.
Or at least point you to things that will do that for you.
And talk about them.
Yeah.
And give our opinions.
We appreciate it. Yeah. So 200. Wow.
Wow.
Thanks if you've been here from the beginning and if you've listened to all 200, thank you.
What is wrong with you?
Wow. And
Mom,
congratulations.
Allie.
Not even my parents have listened to all of them.
I love you. Thank you for doing that.
Matt, our biggest fan.
Matt, absolutely. Shout out to Matt. Absolutely.
Yo, nice. Yeah, good shout out to Matt. And anybody that's written in, giving us episode ideas, send us an email, send kind words or anything like that. We do appreciate it. Again, we do this kind of for fun and for you guys. And we hope you've had fun along the journey because 200 is a milestone. And yeah, we appreciate it and hope you had a good 4th of July. And Live long and prosper. I guess that's where I'll leave it.
So beautiful, guys. Live long and prosper. And check us out at normies_like_us, at normies like us on YouTube, all the socials, all that good stuff. Rate, review, subscribe. It helps us out. We love that. And we love when you interact and comment and say, it doesn't bother me that you guys talk so much about Star Trek. I like it too. Or, no, the Obi-Wan canon's perfect. What are you talking about? We'll listen to that. I would love to hear somebody say
Lola's
that.
my favorite robot. Yeah, and I hope it is your favorite robot.
The loader robot is my favorite Star Wars character. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, share the load. It's my favorite. But yeah,
we'll take that. But otherwise, thank you again. And we've been your hosts, Colin.
Just Mike.
And Jacob.
Oh, and Joe's Katra. Yeah, thank you.
Joe's Katra.
You're acting a little strange. It's like you got another personality inside of you or something.
It's all right.
It'd be too damn logical.
Yeah, you guys like Spider-Man? I really like Spider-Man. Batman Beyond.
That is.
Yeah.
We got to get you to
Bruce Springsteen. Gabagool.
We got to get you to Jersey Genesis.
That's right. All right. Live long and prosper. We have and always shall be your hosts.
Your normies.
Wow.